Regional Council member Mr. Chaitanya with us. We request him to address us, please.
Thank you, Deepika. The coordinator, Kumal, lovely speaker, Chaitanya, my colleague and very dynamic treasurer, Pinky Madam, respected all seniors, very good morning to all of you. I think I echo what Pinky said. In fact, it's most important. A lot of time, we as a common man, we don't realize what is the power of MSME and what MSME can do. So just to give you one example, for example, there's one unit of one industry of Tata Motors in Pune. So we know, okay, Tata Motors is there, but around Tata Motors, there will be 200-300 MSME units supporting Tata Motors. And government has awakened in last decade, I would say. We are partnering with the government. Always we say that ICI is partnering, nation building with the government. Year before, we carried out something called MSME Yatra. And this was of 75 days Yatra in 75 cities, where we as ICI, along with the MSME ministry, we will conduct 2 to 3 such seminars for the awareness of our members, industrialists, so that they are better aware about what is happening in MSME. And day in and day out, government is coming up with the modification in scheme, new scheme benefits, and which are very, very vital. Now, if we talk, we as a practitioner, see, I'm being an individual or a small practitioner, I'm not going to get an audit of Tata Motors. But these 200 MSME, I can do effective service. The new era which has started in last 5 years is listing of MSME unit through SME stock exchange, and which we aren't thinking about as an area, or even the industrialists thinking this as an generation of fund, a cost-free fund, valuation of their equity is increasing. So these type of value add, when we go and give to this MSME unit, I don't think they will ever think of going to any big firm. So we first need to study, learn from a learned person like Chaitanya Bhai. Chaitanya Bhai, over one call we agreed. Really thankful to you, Chaitanya Bhai. I have met him maybe in 2014-15 once, which he had forgotten, to his office. For some MSME guidance, I would have gone to his office. So I told him, your office was in this building, I had come once. He said, probably, so many people come and I forget. So he's so generous and kind person. We have, very learned person, maybe, past several years. He is a mentor to so many MSME units. So on behalf of our council, let me thank him for sparing his valuable time and readily agreeing. Friends, do give your suggestion. We want to organize more such series of program on SME, IPO, MSME. So wherever, whatever suggestions you have, we are giving a feedback sheet at the end of the program. So kindly give us your suggestions so that we can, so in this area, we can try and organize more and more programs. Thank you so much. Yeah, Startup Sphere is, one initiative which ICI has started since last 2-3 years. First ever MSME companies or a startup companies could have participated was here in right away in BKC in Geo Convention Center a year before we did. Similar program we are repeating in Bangalore this year on 27, 28, 29, where can be a visitor. Let me tell you, here also there were a lot of opportunities. If any one of you would have seen there, see, number one, so many companies which are up for IPOs through SME, so you get an investment opportunity. There are companies where you need some or other person. See, these are again small companies requiring people to become independent directors. So chartered accountant, those who have registered as independent directors, can come in touch with this. And of course, our traditional all services we have been providing, and now with the government regulation, we cannot have a statutory auditor providing other services like some specified management, except some specified services, we are not able to provide the other services. So I think there's a huge opportunity for practicing chartered accountant when we participate or visit such exhibition. See, the earlier time frame was there was no exhibition hosted by ICA, and there were a lot of restriction internally, externally. Barring the world Congress, which happened once in lifetime, maybe ab jab hoga tab hoga. He said this is, one place where we can go and demonstrate what we as a chartered accountant are able to do. With this learning and recognition across the world, we repeated that program in the form of GloPack in Gandhinagar. And I'm told now every year ICI will have such program where the chartered accountant, medium-sized CA firm will able to demonstrate their services, will able to tell MSME, SMEs that look, here is a firm where I can also provide a competitive services, qualitative services like Big Four. I can also provide you getting a listing done at SME exchange. I can also help you in getting incentive. What kind of incentives are available? So these demonstrations have happened in such exhibitions. And Startup Sphere is one more exhibition which is happening now. So if you haven't visited GloPack World Congress or Startup Sphere 1, you must go and see what is happening in ICA through these exhibitions. And there are huge opportunities awaiting all of us. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ketan Bhai, for addressing all of us. As we gaze that we have a dynamic speaker today, Mr. Chaitanya Shah. Chaitanya Shah is a seasoned professional with 25 years of practicing experience as management advisors to SMEs. He also has an experience with industry of 2 decades with senior levels as general manager, vice president, and senior vice president. He has mentored and has been functional assessor for an international HR firm. He is also a visiting faculty for many management institutes like NMIMS, SP Jain, Wellinger, etc. He's a regular speaker for all SME events, and he's been conducting various events for Asian Development Bank and BCCI initiative also. So we welcome Mr. Chaitanya Shah to please address us for an Abhi's event. Yeah. I request Pinky Keria ma'am and our RCM member Ketan Sayed to please present a memento to our speaker.
आप जाइए हेलो Can you all hear me? Very good morning to all of you. At the outset, I would like to thank WRC for the Mumbai and Mr. Shah, who immediately on the first telecom, immediately agreed, that I have the presentation. Secondly, I would also like to thank Atul Beda. He is the one who took initiative, and I don't know how we have to do him. And the entire team, Deepika, Vicky, and Commission. Friends, it's a huge topic, huge issue, and I find, having been in this for over 45 years of experience, I find there are enormous opportunities. Enormous is enormous. That's what I can say here from news from it. But more than that, what is important is that there is a huge requirement on the other side. Normally, when the opportunity is arising, the requirement of the services, professional services, understanding some basic things is something which is very, very important. And in this 3 hours of lecture, I have tried to focus on certain fundamental things. I have also highlighted what are the different areas of practice, some of which Mr. Shah highlighted. I'll make some passing reference and really just what exactly is the issue. I have one or two industry friends from there who are attending, so maybe he can vouch for it. And that's where I will be focusing. This is the agenda for today. The one which is getting highlighted in this slide is something that I'll be speaking on and then go to the next topic. The first is economic growth engine and entrepreneurial journey. This is what Shah mentioned. But he mentioned about the economic growth engine. He did use the word growth engine. He said what is happening in MSME. I'm going to focus on the growth, how the government is pushing it. What are the things, what are the different things which are happening there, and what are the numbers, how the numbers are increasing phenomenally. So that is, and most important, the entrepreneurial journey. The entrepreneur, that also I will explain what is this journey, how the focus is changing, and where things are becoming more important for us as a chartered accountant. Second is changing business ecosystem and business response. In view of this, and how the business ecosystem is changing. What are the fundamental changes that have taken place over the last few decades, but particularly last 10 years, and which is causing tremendous pressure on everyone, and which, unfortunately, as I can say, I think with 45, 46 years of experience, that still people are not realizing. Third is revisiting finance function and opportunities for chartered accountants. What is finance function? How it is related with MSMEs, what Mr. Shah mentioned briefly, and what are the opportunities for CS. Last, I will mention and present certain case studies and additional opportunities. And then summary and miscellaneous. Okay. First ground rule which I would suggest is how many of you have worked in industry? So fair number of people. So you will find it here. But even otherwise, whenever you have doubt, you better stop me and raise your query. I'll try to finish as quickly as possible, or maybe well visiting little detail, depending on the time permitting, because something which I want to finish during this time is we have to look at it. Now, this is the definition of MSME. Recently, it has undergone a change, and it is linked with both investment and the turnover. Earlier focus was only on investment. Now the focus has also come on the turnover, and it's a cumulative condition. If you are to be a micro, your turnover should not exceed 5 crore. And you also have an investment in plant and machinery not exceeding 1 crore. Similarly, when you go to the small enterprises, it becomes 50 crores and investment in plant and machinery not exceeding 10 crores. And when you go to the medium enterprise, the turnover is not to be more than 250 crores. And investment in plant and machinery should not be more than 50 crores. Now, if you compare it with the old definition, which was of investment, the fundamental approach to MSMEs, calling MSME with 250 crore itself is something which is a big thing, really what I have seen in the last 20 years. Internationally, there is also focus on the employment of manpower. How many people are employed and how they have basically been creating employment. Now, this is the MSME statistics. And what we may not be knowing I will not go into the greater detail of this, but the green figure which is there. Total, there are about 6.4 crore MSME units in the country. And this would have, because this may be a little old figure, subsequently in today's date, it would have increased also fairly large. But the surprising thing is 99% of these MSMEs are all micro, with turnover of less than 5 crores. And based on my experience, I would say it is not just 5 crores. Most of them would be with turnover of less than 4 crores. And very important fact, 32% don't survive beyond 3 years. MSME, 32% don't survive for more than 3 years. You can go to the MSME website and look for the MSME annual report. If you want to study more, you can go to the MSME website and study the annual report. You will get tremendous information about such statistics. Now, why government is giving so much of push to the MSME segment? And these are the fundamental results. One of the factors which was highlighted in UP was regarding employment. The issue with the employment which people are facing is something which is there. MSMEs contribute in a big way to GDP, employment generation, support to large industries. That is what Mr. Shah mentioned, and that number is startling. He mentioned about 300 units. I can tell you I worked with one very large Indian MNC. There are at least 10 plants all over the country. And each of the plant had nothing less than 4 to 5 MSME suppliers. So it's a huge support. Without them, they cannot work. There are certain specific which are earmarked for them. It encourages inclusive growth. People who are poor, I'll give one of the examples. People who are poor are being pulled out. So the disparity which has been there between the rich and the poor is getting bridged. People are getting with these environments. They are coming out of it. Important role in making India. There are a lot of things. I think import orders of the government to the extent of 250 or 500 crores are not to be placed with large funds. It has to be in MSMEs. So this is what the push is being given by the government. It also helps balance regional development. Northeast, for whatever reasons, was ignored since independence, has seen phenomenal growth in last 10 years. Sector percentage share, manufacturing is 45%, MSMEs contribute, exports 40%, and employment 69%. Now, what is the focus and vision of the government? Government is wanting that the GDP contribution to increase from 30 to 40%. Share in exports should grow from 48 to 60%. Jobs in MSMEs, 11 crores to 16 crores. Now, just look at the number. Now, when we are talking of job, even if you take minimum number of 3 people in the family, how many people will be taken out? When it moves from 11 to 16, 5 into 3. 15 crores people can move out. Number of startups which he mentioned, I've got one slide on this, which were only 400 in 2014, now has jumped to 7,022. And those who are interested, when I was just traveling from my residential office, in today's economic times, there is a wonderful article on startup ecosystem by Kishan Khan, is a very senior law bureaucrat. It's a wonderful article in economic times. And that is why the entire ecosystem of MSMEs is giving a phenomenal opportunity. Second, what is going to happen? Similarly, the way industry is there, in our chartered accountant field also, there will be very few like big four and some such big firms. But most of the chartered accountants are comparatively, these are lesser number of, employees or, their business size and all. So this is where the opportunities come up. Very briefly, because I'm doing something on startups right now, thinking about it. The difference between startup and an MSME, it is something which is very important for one to know. Startup typically is a new idea. It is going to disrupt the way the entire system has been working so far. Whereas MSMEs are generating profit and in a traditional business, मेरा जो दुकान खोल दिया एक छोटा factory खोल दिया, something like that. Business range for startups it is unlimited, something which cannot be thought about. Those kind of businesses, I will be some of them. And MSMEs have a limited, which they do in the traditional field. Vision. Startup ideas, those who come out with that, they have phenomenal vision. They just think of changing something dramatically. They want to, make the whole system upside down. And some of the examples, you may be knowing about Oyo. Are you aware of Oyo? Hotel booking system, how the entire system works. Byju's, they wanted to change fundamentally the way the education is being imparted. But these are the things where there are issues that we need to look at it, we'll see later. Uber. Uber came and who went away from the scene? Meru. Meru and related services gone out. So this is what the fundamental for the entire. Swiggy, then this kind of things. MSMEs survive and thrive. They just want to work on them. Profits. MSMEs focus on generating profit as quickly as possible, whereas startups are not at all enough. Now, there are certain fundamental issues which also we will discuss. Funding. MSMEs raise funds, either their own funds or family, friends, or banks. Startups basically get the funds from investors and IPO. There are huge investors world over, they give a lot of money, and that is where the startups get the money. There is, I refer that, there is a video on startup funding files. What has happened? From where the money came and where it is gone. Technology, MSMEs use very limited, whereas startup play a very crucial role. Age and resilience, this is the most important number which you look at. 30% of MSMEs don't survive beyond 3 years. Whereas it is reverse. 92% of startups fail during the same period. So high risk is involved as far as the startup ecosystem is concerned. Exit strategy, startups exit strategy is very important because they want to make huge money for 5 years, 10 years for their strong on. MSMEs, there is no such path. Similarly, if you see Urban Ladder and Paper Fry, I know one of the companies, Paper Fry, Urban Ladder, in little detail. They have struggled for almost 10 years. And now they are coming out of it and getting into the right this. Now I mentioned about the entrepreneurial journey. Now this is what we have to basically perform. I give you the prerequisites. Entrepreneurial journey can be compared with two things. One is our education system, and the other one, the most popular thing is cricket. Idea stage, everybody, well, if I ask Deepika, she'll give me 2, 3 ideas. So everybody, like a school or, in gully cricket or building, everybody's, generating ideas. But that is not the interesting. Similarly, your KG, hardly you learn anything. It's just a play. But tiny and micro, starts with your primary education. You can compare it with primary education, you are going up to the standard 4 or 7. And tiny and micro, if you compare it in the cricket terminology, it is club cricket. You are going up to the club cricket, play like that. Because you are talking to common injuries. Small scale industry where you go. What is the definition of small scale? What is the turnover? Small is 5 to 50 crores. So like that, in small scale when you go, you are going into secondary up to 11th standard. And in cricket, you go up to the state level playing cricket. So because your experience, exposure, and most important skills have to improve. Without that, you cannot. And that is what it is. Medium scale, it is you are going for graduation level. And you are paying cricket at the national level. So now look at the competition. If you have to move from club to state and state to national, what kind of a skill you are for? What is the kind of a tough competition? So that is what kind of a skills required to be developed. And this is where CAs can help business owners in a big way. Because they have a huge problem. Huge means unbelievably huge problem. And this is where CAs with their own expertise, what they have been taught, what they know, what their experiences, they can play a huge role. Large scale is like a postgraduate and playing an international or becoming a PhD. This you compare with the MSME owner journey. You are starting as a startup or idea validation stage, where your skill level, management skill level is virtually zero. You have no idea about how to run the business. Slowly and gradually, as with the experience, all the things which are available, they start climbing the journey. And on skill level, management skill level, they start going to compare with the large scale industries. This journey is most important and crucial. And with all my experience of so many years of 25 years of exposure in the MSME field, this is where there is a huge resistance. They are not able to understand, figure out what exactly it is, where they are failed, and the important, what is the consequences of it, we'll discuss in later slides. So this is something which has to be there, and this gap is to be filled, and this is where, again, opportunities for chartered accountants are there in an immense form. You can't believe what kind of opportunities are there. This is a quote by Mr. Michael Gerber. Anyone who has heard the name? No. He's the founder of, you can write if you want and go and study in detail. He has set up a business called E-Meet, world's largest business advisor to small business. And the kind of work he has done, in the long story is it, 1970 till today, they have found flourishing. And they are the people who are trying to do in a big way. He has quoted, the entrepreneur is not really interested. This is very important for entrepreneurs and for us to understand as chartered accountant. The entrepreneur is not really interested in doing the work. He is not supposed to be the nitty-gritty of work. What is his job? He is interested in creating the way company operates. He is setting the tone. In that regard, the entrepreneur is an inventor. He or she loves to invent, but does not love to manufacture or sell to or distribute what he or she needs. Means entrepreneur himself is not supposed to do day-to-day work. And unfortunately, that is all they are. And that is why they are stuck in a rut. Their job is conceptualize, again, as a CA or role will be there. Conceptualize, implement, and operationalize. Kishore Biani, when he was at the helm of Phantom, he once said, when he was into his son or daughter, he said, My job is goes to various vendor shops, go have a look, what are the things what people are buying and all that. And then he says, then I simply inform, give my suggestions to the CEO. He's paid for that. My job is over. I just gave him input so that he wants to report me. So this is something of an employee. Now we come to the next. This is very important. This is all the precursor for our understanding. Changing business system, ecosystem, and business response, how the business should be responding to this. If you think of this earlier, what is the profit function? What is profit? I hope everybody is able to see. Selling price minus cost. What we were having in our economy? Have you heard of license right? Right? So we had a license right, we had quota system. And as a result, what was happening? That profit had become a function only of the selling price. See, you are making a profit of 20 rupees. Your selling price is 40 and your cost is 20. Right? Now you want to make a profit of 25 rupees. Industry and every businessman, what they were doing? 40 का 45 का दो. ये मेरा हो गया 25. ये देखने में इतना सिंपल दिखता है, but it is not that simple. This is the only thing which is creating so much of pressure on the entire system. People don't realize this. And along with this, there was a high taxation because the supply was curtailed. You people may not be knowing, we studied about Hazare report and all that. 20 industrialists in this country till 1980 were controlling the entire industries. They were having all the licenses. Nobody else had that. And along with this high taxation, how many of you know that the highest rate of income tax was 97%? Plus you add wealth tax, you are left with 13. This led to unethical practices. As a result, public open forum, I can't say about certain things, but it led in very simple terms to unethical practices. And that got into the blood of business. And hardly anybody used to have a proper books of accounts, which is the core for you to understand how the business is functioning. Now what has happened, this scenario has changed. You were making profit of 20, 40 selling price, is आपका cost. अभी आपको profit करना है 25. क्या करोगे? You can't change this 40. It is decided by the market forces. आप कुछ भी नहीं कर सकते. There is nothing that anybody can do. So what you do is, you have to reduce it to 15. This is the crux of the whole matter. ये समझ में नहीं आता है. This is what is creating so much of pressure on the system. And this, coupled with the wrong practices which have been there over decades, is causing a huge problem. This is where opportunities are there for all of us. Along with this, with the globalized economy, earlier so many restrictions were there. It was not a globalized economy. Today, world is one world. फोन करिए आपको यूएस से यूके से या सिटी को दे यूके यूके स्विच फ्रॉम सूरत मिल जाती है वहां पे. Few of my relatives, they always switch from Surat for their marriages in the family. तो इतना हो गया है. Now in a competition, there is so much of competition around. Second is complexities. With the knowledge increasing by leaps and bounds, the complexity in the ecosystem, the working environment is dramatically increasing. We are not able to keep track with it. And third thing is this also which uncertainties. अपने को मालूम नहीं है क्या होगा. 3 days back, stock exchange dipped by 2,000 points. Within 2 days, it's again back up. तो अपने को कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा है क्या हो रहा है. So fast changing ecosystem is the crux at the focus. And artificial intelligence is going to add much more, many problems in the entire system in next couple of years to come. Any queries so far? All clear? The other part of it.
सर वो
Yeah.
उसके पहले वाला पॉइंट टॉपिक में क्या बोलते हैं कॉस्ट प्रेशर क्या बोलते हैं पहले वाला कि मार्केट फोर्सेस से पहले जो एनालिटिकल प्रैक्टिसेस था अभी मार्केट ड्रिवन हो गया है
हाँ.
वो पॉइंट जब वापस इलेक्ट करेंगे
See, क्या हो रहा था? If you see my MCS, see, I was making a profit of 20 rupees earlier in a closed economy, where certain things were not happening. 20 रुपया प्रॉफिट था, 40 का सेलिंग प्राइस था और 20 रुपया मेरा कॉस्ट था. Because I had the power to control the supply because of the license charge. मेरे को प्रॉफिट बढ़ाना है, 20 का 25 करना है, सेलिंग प्राइस मैंने 40 का 45 कर. My problem is solved. Now, that is what is not available.
मार्केट
You can't do that. And classic example, you may not feel born or maybe you may not have heard about it. In Bajaj, scooter, there used to be a standing line for about 7 years, 8 years. Premier automobile, ambassador, third class cars. You have to wait for 5 years, 7 years, or use some top class influence to get the vehicle. Today, everybody is running after you know some गाड़ी लोगे ये discount ये scheme है. So this is the change. Clear?
Sir, although sale price is market driven, cost cannot be that effectively reduced to 15.
Exactly. You have raised the right point. Abhi, she has raised the right point. I was expecting somebody will say, but considering the Abhi क्या हो रहा है? This is where the pressure is coming. We do not, first cost may not be possible to reduce by 25%. बराबर? तो आप ज्यादा से ज्यादा उसको 17, 18 तक लेके आ सको. So what is happening? There is a pressure on the top. And if you see the business is closing down, it's because of this. आप जितना cost बढ़ेगा उतना काम तो नहीं कर सकोगे. So everybody, if you see notice, I see in my area where I am staying in Matuma, there are around 50 to 100 shops from Wellington to market. Every month, 1 or 2 people are changing their boards. It's getting sold at somebody else's company. Yeah.
मतलब इससे एमएसएमई का क्या रिलेशनशिप
हाँ?
ये जो आपने बताया
हाँ.
इससे ह्यूमन टॉपिक उससे क्या रिलेटेड है
इसमें रिलेशनशिप ये है कि ऐसा जो हो रहा है वो सिस्टम चेंज हो गया, उसको कैसे हैंडल करें? हाउ डू वी हैंडल इट? सब तो घर पे ताला लगा के नहीं बैठ सकते.
तो इकोनॉमिक ऑफ जो बोर्ड प्रैक्टिसेस ना हो तो बड़ी-बड़ी कंपनीज है. अभी जो एमएसएमई है वो तो नई कंपनीज है. अपनी यार वो तो नई वो तो ये मार्केट ड्रिवन में ही खेल रही है. वो लोग तो लाइसेंस राज और भी कल्चर नहीं है.
We will get some examples. You will get exactly how to think that.
So they can manage through a concept of economies of scale.
Exactly, that's the point. That's the point. If I am using any particular asset to its optimum level, then I'm okay. Then I will generate the capacity to fight the inflation. Everybody has to fight the inflation, everybody has to fight the competitive pressures which are there. As I mentioned in cars, what is happening? One, Indian multinational where I used to go as an advisor for, their finance function. For just placing one simple facility in a car, there will be debate for days. ये cost कितना बढ़ेगा, and whether we can keep top and bottom line sales with that. Yeah. अभी नहीं करूँगा मैं.
And last of all,
नहीं अभी जरूरत नहीं. Now it's not required. Then I will definitely. I will bring it. So this is clear. Now another thing which has happened in India, which is creating further pressure. This is particularly for industries. GST, direct and indirect taxes, they have been simplified. It has simplified the process and has brought in enormous amount of transparency. Second, there are faceless assessments, automation, so you can't dabble with any of the numbers. Now the situation is that whatever you are filing, every number, the system has the process to get the details of that. They can verify. Few days back, I'm not into this field at all. Let me tell you very clearly, I have no knowledge ABC of income tax or GST. I don't get it. But few days back, in one of my circles, they had given that when they start the process of scrutiny, what are the transaction limits which are there, which trigger process of you must be all going about. Third is tighter norms, compliances and vigilance. It is increasing day by day and it will increase further. Digitization and data mining is becoming a big issue. Every transaction. I know PM making a statement in this movement that they have got so much of data that they can employ 1 lakh people caliber for 1 full year for data mining or what kind of data. So transparency and governance is the other big issue. Today, if you see my son is in this field, and they call it as ESG. I think all of you must be doing ESG audits now. It's environment, society, and governance. So because of this, what is happening is there is increasing pressure. Now that is small, maybe all large companies, but even in the lower, small companies, this is one particular example will be dealing later. Now let us come to business. What is the business objective? When we are starting a business, whether it is startups, whether it is regular, whether it is technology or this Infosys and all, what is their objective? You want to create long-term sustainable business. Okay? You agree? मेरा business, जिसको in our colloquial language we say, पेड़ी दर पेड़ी चलना चाहिए. मेरे बाद मेरा लड़का, उसके बाद उसका लड़का, उसके बाद उसका लड़का, they should be running the business. Or if it's a professionalized environment like data and all, it should go from one economic zone to the other economic zone, then into the other economic period, where these businesses survive. Now for doing this, for creating our long-term sustainable business, to my mind, there are 3 fundamental things which are required. One, optimum utilization of resources. Now this is where inputs are starting for all of you as to how we can help all these MSMEs. One is optimum utilization of resources. Today, if I am having a plant, what is my capacity? If I am using a material, what is the material utilization? Am I using the material properly or not? Whether I am getting the proper output, input-output ratio is there or not proper. Second is fair distribution to stakeholders. आपके जितने भी stakeholders, उनको fair distribution होना चाहिए. If they are not happy, your business will be dollars. आपको business के अंदर whether your employees, whether they are your suppliers, whether they are your customers, whether they are your financiers, whether it is government or society at large. आपको business को ऐसे run करना है whereby you are satisfying everybody. And third is compliances of law of the land, which has become very important. If you don't do it, you are in trouble. This would mean you must have performance plus credibility. ये दोनों होगा आप पढ़ते होंगे समझते होंगे everywhere good governance is required. So this is where your good governance is खाली बात करने का बात नहीं है. You have to show your performance and also have credibility. And this is where chartered accountants can be a huge. Huge means huge, and I will discuss about certain things, although on any platform it is not good for me to say something about me. But I will say because it is necessary. Changing business ecosystem. इसी के लिए the entire business ecosystem is changing. वो जो पहले हमने देखा how license raj has come, kind of a competition which is the government pressure is there on government. So these are the business objectives which has to stand for this. If you don't stand for this, as simple as that. Business response, how to handle this? So business response can be क्या करेगा? Improve business processes and practices. You see minutely कि मेरा business process and system में मैं कैसे change कर सकता हूँ, कैसे practice change कर सकता हूँ. I'll just give you an example of construction. Do you know how many months or years one building used to take for construction? Years to get. Now there is a sort of a benchmark. My building is under reconstruction, that's why I know. There is a benchmark कि आपका जो है एक महीने में, even if it's a small builder, 3 floor तो बनना चाहिए. 3 floors are a must. Secondly, what they are doing, in order to save the cost of rent and all that, they are taking partial OC. समझो 50 माले का बिल्डिंग है, ग्राउंड फ्लोर और 2-3 फ्लोर जैसे जैसे होता गया, पार्ट में OC लेके stop that payment of rent to the. Now this is how you are coming out with business processes and practices कि मैं कैसे cost कम करूँ. Second is cost effectiveness. जो भी खर्चा करता हूँ उसमें से मैं कितना ज्यादा ले सकता हूँ. Cost effectiveness. Cars is a classic example. What is happening in the car industry? The way the number of cars are coming up and how we are. Third is decision support system and taking informed decisions. These are all the areas where chartered accountants can play a huge role. And why I'm saying this, that also I'll come to I think one slide. Now just take the example of railways. Where was starting this type of running. In railways, what is happening or what has happened in last 2 years? I don't know how many of you remember the condition of platforms 10-12 years back. And what are the conditions today? What has happened? There is an increased frequency. If you are traveling by the Bombay locals, you will notice पहले जो 6-7 मिनट का टाइम था, now it is reduced to 3 minutes. Now just imagine the impact of it. What is the impact? You are able to take double the passengers. अब easy double passenger हो गए. Second, speed which used to be 80-90, इसमें भी 30 came. Now, Vande Bharat and all that, they are running at 160 running. So that is again reducing time by 10. Now look at the cumulative impact of all this on the capacity. Third is number of bogies. Earlier, I remember it. Yeah.
ये हमारा सेमिनार ये MSME के ऊपर है ना. ये हम लोग इसके बारे में क्यों बात कर रहे हैं कि इकोनॉमी कैसे चेंज कर रहा है, इससे हमारा ऐसा क्या रिलेशन?
और बढ़िया you get that's why I have given this particular thing. You will know. Now tell me one thing, you are an SME, right? You are having 10 rooms in the thing. अभी वो 10 rooms में आप पहले आराम से चलाते थे. You are not bothered about it. Certain amount of cloth was getting processed. Certain amount of cloth was getting processed. कपड़ा. अभी क्या है? When you start thinking about it, you will realize कि मेरे को profitable नहीं है. तो मैं भाव तो बढ़ा नहीं सकता हूँ. I will have to increase the speed of the loop, see that you know they are latest.
बंदा कपड़ा बना है, कॉलेज है, करेगा इसे, पता है
नहीं करता है. Problem वो है. It is not offline. Offline.
आता है, इसके ऊपर बिजनेस खुद रहा है।
सुनिए, offline बात करें. I said you then we certain time on January because I will finish it like that. Revenue increase, quick and rapid. If you see the valuation, you know, your booking of the case is something where you have all different things. If you book a, in Karnal at certain stage, you get certain rate, then you get spatial corridor for goods trade is getting ready. Continuous innovations, cost and exports. That is not something which is required. Now, one of the things which is happening, road transport will cost you 10 rupees per kilo per ton. Train will cost you 6 to 7, and now focusing on water, which will cost you 2 rupees. As a result, MSMEs don't plan to fail, but fail to fund. This is the basic focus. Need to focus, and there lies the opportunities. Because they need to focus on this, and they are not aware of this, how to do it. That is where the opportunities are lying for startup. Yeah.
Sorry, obviously you have business advice services kind of stuff. Right? So are we able to offer and compared to MBA? How is able to apply to the MBA? Because MBA are more so business advice. We as a chartered more focused on the finance acquisitions and those kind of. So to understand how to put something with them.
Chartered accountant के पास जो है ना, मेरे हिसाब से, is not with them. They have brilliant analytical mind. Chartered accountants' analytical mind is absolutely true. And that is because of their 3 years training, the way the course is structured, the way they are being trained. Unfortunately, which I will be coming on that. Unfortunately, our compliance is. We have never looked at the business part of it. That is because of all the previous slides which I explained. We have never focused on how to increase because industry never wanted it. Our clients never wanted it. Now this is what they want, they are not aware of it. MBA is not, you need to post a certain comment like I'm also an MBA in finance. I have a lot of good qualifications. So we'll discuss on that issue. The biggest advantage of finance function is what?
We have access end to end to the entire life cycle of the business.
Okay. I will be slightly quick, because we will finish so many things. The biggest advantage is that only industry are good. Any industry you pick up. You pick up the car industry. Then you pick up the mechanical industry. These things, research and development, design of products, procurement and markets, all these functions will change. Industry to industry will change. Whereas finance is one function, financial management, there is no change. And this is the greatest asset, greatest plus point we are. आप कुछ भी पकड़ लो, you can easily come back to the numbers. मारवाड़ी बोलेगा ना, मेरे को bottom line दिखा देगा. क्या है? And this is something which, and that is why I focus on this value chain of business function. Could be industry product, whether it is a trader, whether it is a service provider, or whether it is a manufacturer. इन ऐसा इंडस्ट्री होता है. तो इसमें आपका इसमें कहीं भी फर्क नहीं होने वाला. अभी yes boss they can just see this. Refocusing of finance 4 years, and since I have gone through this entire thing for 45 plus years, that's why I'm talking with so much of authority and confidence. What has happened? Refocusing on the finance. Earlier, finance function was confined to transaction processing. मेरे को टाइम में बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट खत्म करने का है 3 महीना 4 महीना ईयर एंडिंग हो गया आई एम स्टिल स्ट्रगलिंग विद दिस मेरा अकाउंट्स नहीं होता है एंड पर्टिकुलरली इन एमएसएमईज अकाउंट्स तो कभी कभी तो सीए वाला पीछे पड़ के करवाता है दैट्स व्हाट आई हर्ड सो ये जो ट्रांजैक्शन प्रोसेसिंग विच वाज टेकिंग अवे 40% ऑफ द टाइम under the integrated system which is 20%, now even less than that, with much better and reliable information. Second is reporting. You distribute the report is a very important thing. वो चलता है. Control function. पहले जो accountant रहता है उसका भी एक 2-3 स्लाइड है उसमें. पहले the role of accounts and finance was control function. वो क्यों गया था तो उसने ट्रैवलिंग में क्यों इतना टैक्सी का लगाया 30 का 40 रुपीज क्यों लगाया देयर समथिंग रॉन्ग तो दे विल कीप ऑन फोकसिंग ऑन दैट नाउ दोस थिंग्स आर गेटिंग रिड्यूस्ड एंड नाउ दिस फंक्शन फाइनेंस स्किल is becoming more towards role transformation decision support जो पहले 10% भी यूज नहीं होता था now it is 50%. Now, these CAs are respected, they should be respected for 50% of the inputs which they can give for better business planning. Clear? Do you agree? Now, this I'm telling from my own experience. And somebody who mentioned, I worked in all different profile details, so I know one a lot of things. Entrepreneur's role in financial, and in fact, I have done my PhD in these SMEs, and this is the basic focus of doing my PhD. Put all my thoughts in a proper manner for this purpose. Entrepreneurial qualities. सबसे पहले, if you want a good finance function, entrepreneurial qualities होना बहुत जो भी आपका बॉस जो भी बिजनेस रन करता है आई एम नॉट फोकसिंग ऑन अदर विजन पैशन वैल्यूज इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट यू मस्ट बी अ मैन विद वैल्यूज इधर उधर करना है तो उसका काम नहीं बनेगा 100% he must be looking for from our limited purpose of this presentation is teamwork. He must be looking for building a right team. On such team मुझे बनाना that he should be focused. And so this is where in finance function, if you want a good finance function, this is something which is most important. Second is empowering finance function. पहले के जमाने में पहले के जमाने में accountants had a very peculiar role. They were not ठीक है हम शेयर पे बोलते हैं कर देंगे empowerment is very important. I'll give you one instance. When I started my career in 70s, 82, I was already finance manager. So monthly compilation के लिए I used to face some problem from my daily office. And that man, in those days, Delhi was all focus for reasons, seniors may be going. So, उधर से accounts would not come back. And that would delay my monthly process. 2 महीना नहीं कर रहे बाद में I talked to the MD and the board. इसका क्या करना है? So they said, what is your solution? I said, my solution is simple. That particular office is depending on funds from Bombay. मैं उसका funds बंद कर देता. That is my role as a finance. They said, okay, do it. Within 15 days, Delhi office were in place. Accounts आने का चालू हो गया. Now ये क्या है? ये हर एक छोटे मोटे हर एक organization में this is a thing don't happen in that. This is where the owner has to open, take right suggestions and implement. Strong systems and processes. This is something which is where phenomenal, and most of the slides now are going to be on this. Strong systems and processes should be there. There is a same kind of an example. The marketing manager used to hand over his traveling bills to one of my junior accountants. And he will keep on struggling for making it, because he won't know खर्चा क्या हुआ है, किधर हुआ है. So he will keep on struggling to prepare the account. And thereafter, that marketing manager will still shouting कि तुमने ये नहीं किया, वो नहीं किया. That poor fellow came to me, सब ऐसा हो रहा है. Then I talked to the MD and the ED. बोला ऐसा है. What do you say? I said you should be prepared by the person who has traveled. Simple logic है. उसको मालूम है क्या है क्या नहीं. Secondly, he should get it approved from the higher up. क्योंकि उसको मालूम है क्या क्या खर्चा किया है. And then he should give it to accounts. System set हो गया. And like this, we set so many systems in the company. तो उसके ऊपर भी मैंने थोड़ा लिखा है, उसके बोला है. तो ये जो systems जो है, why I am giving this example is, this is a major problem. Right accounts within you. You ought to have strong systems and processes which are being done. MIS is reporting dissemination of information. MIS जो बनता है, it must be disseminated to the जिसका जो रोल है, उसके हिसाब से the information must be disseminated. Then only you will be able to improve its performance. Now, if you follow this, and I think this is the crux of my PhD thesis, this will lead to improved performance and credibility. आपका जो performance है, वो dramatically improve होगा, and your credibility will also improve, because you are giving all stakeholders what is required. Banks को उसका report time में जाता है, creditors को पैसा time से आता है, reminder जाता है, creditors को पैसा time से जाता है. In one company, when I was just talking, the MD first said, I'm coming from a traditional Guju family. And in our this same payment to the creditor must reach the earlier date and the details. Systems were set. Okay. Now I have given you certain highlights about my experience. Now, PhD has helped me in crystallizing my entire thoughts, which I did in 2013, 2017, 65 information office. But it helps me crystallizing my thought process, which is required. Now, third is, now this is the most important part. Revisiting finance function and opportunities for chartered accountants. इसमें जब भी maybe some of the questions, MSME business journey and focus. हर एक आदमी जो छोटे से स्टार्ट करता है, तो सीधा वो टाटा या बिरला को सोचने वाला नहीं. He has a journey. He moves into that journey. So this is what I am trying to explain. How his mindset is in those stages and how it is going to change. First, when he is micro, means less than ₹5 crores. He is struggling with idea validation in market. कि मैं जो भी आइडिया पे काम करता हूँ, तो वो आइडिया ठीक है कि नहीं, वो चलेगा कि नहीं. First, उसका प्रोडक्ट या सर्विस, and then whether it has a related market or not. मार्केट नहीं है तो उसको क्या करेगा. So in this stage, his focus is basically on idea validation and market. वो करता रहेगा. Second stage में, when he is getting into small scale industry, he is developing his execution capabilities. उसके पास प्रोडक्ट भी है, उसके पास मार्केट है, तो जब भी उसके पास ये दो है, तो he is now looking at कि मैं ऑर्डर कैसे लाऊं एंड उसको एग्जीक्यूट करके कैसे मार्केट में डिलीवर करूं. So this is where he is focusing in execution capabilities in the 50 crores turnover, where slowly he starts getting, getting to the grip of it. कि ये तो पक्का होने वाला है, मेरे को कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है outside the system. Third is media, and this is where he is looking at growth. Growth means सीधा कितना अपनी एडिशनल प्रोडक्ट ला सकता हूँ, कितनी मार्केट अप्रोच कर सकता हूँ. This is where he starts getting. Out of you, anybody knows about money starting?
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Yes.
Money started. They started their first outlet just near my house in Mumbai, next to vehicles. अभी वो जो restaurant start किया, people will stand outside and all that, and in a very small place where he was. Now this money started. Talking about 4 years back. Today, how many outlets he has got in Mumbai? 14 outlets he has got. And the best outlet is in Kohinoor, the landmark building है, ground floor. He has changed his business concept. You know, बाहर खड़े रहते थे, so he has taken a place in a food court. And उसका advantage क्या है? Food courts open after 10-11. His business started 7 o'clock in the morning. So this is how the growth story. This is how people, when they go into the right direction, एक का 15-16 outlets होना is not a joke. And you should see his entire delivery system, supply chain management जो हम लोग बोलते हैं technically. उसका supply chain management देखो, the way he is catering in such a small place is something absolutely amazing. अभी जैसे बिजनेस ग्रो होगा, वैसे ही आपका फाइनेंस फंक्शन ग्रो होगा. You cannot have in Mani's cafe systems which will be there in Tata or Infosys. Not possible. हो ही नहीं सकता. So what happens when you are startup or micro? Your basic focus is only, or rather should be, on basic accounts and compliances. क्योंकि अभी compliances are important. And basic accounts is something which will give you a clear picture कि आपका business क्या कर रहा है. The best of my knowledge, whatever I know, whatever I hear from people, this is something which is totally missing. 5 करोड़ के नीचे वाले को अपना क्या हो रहा है, they are struggling, the chartered accountants are struggling to file the return in. Ultimately, I have also heard, I could be wrong. Yeah, I have also heard that वो client है, वो पूरा जाके डंप कर देता है, CT office. अभी आप फाइल करो. Now this is something where basic accounts and compliances should be the first part. And I am sure many of you would be having this type of things. उनको ये सिखाओ. इसमें क्या सिखाना है, that also will come in. What is to be done? Second is, when you are going to small scale, you have to look at the bottom line. सिखाओ bottom line कैसे manage करना है. Profit. Most of them don't even know about the profit. Actual profit तो है नहीं, क्योंकि मुझमें गड़बड़ तो क्या करेगा. So bottom line and funding, because when you are going from 5 crores to 50 crores, तो आपको funding भी लगेगा. Now funding is something where we discuss something on, where there is a huge scope, unbelievable scope. You cannot even study so many things. I will mention about certain things. There are different groups which are coming up today. If we don't get up, they are already taking them up. Third is business, in the second stage, financial accounting and cost accounting. This becomes the focus. आपको फाइनेंशियल अकाउंटिंग के साथ कॉस्ट अकाउंटिंग भी समझना है क्योंकि आपको बॉटम लाइन मैनेज करना है। Unless you understand your costing, you will have problems. वो आपको करना है। Third is when you go to the medium scale, 50 crores to 50 crores. You have to have around cost accounting management account, which is budgetary controls. You are planning well in advance. Or we should discuss well in advance so that you know क्या हो रहा है क्योंकि your business is too big to take any kind of risk. All करोड़ तक का आपका turnover है, something going wrong, you are taking a big risk and you will be taking into account. Understanding and appreciation of financial management, this is the word, is important at all stages of business in the changed economic environment which we discussed. आप इसको इग्नोर नहीं कर सकते, आपको इसको सीखना ही पड़ेगा if you want to survive. Now, evolution. आपका प्राइमरी स्कूल में, सेकेंडरी स्कूल में, कॉलेज में क्या सिलेबस रहता है? This is something like that syllabus. When you are right, micro, आपका इतना ही फोकस होता है कि मेरे को पक्का इंफॉर्मेशन मिले कि मेरा मैनेजिंग करंट सेल्स एंड प्रॉफिट, whether मेरे को करंट सेल्स एंड प्रॉफिट समझ में आता है नहीं, whether I am getting the accurate numbers of. Secondly, sales and cost of production, मोटा-मोटी thumb rule, whether I am getting those thumb rule numbers or not. Third is creditors, debtors and inventory. Right? You just take stop with this slide.
Yes.
Creditors, debtors and inventories. ये आपका लाइफलाइन है बिजनेस का। मेरा क्रेडिटर्स कितना है? आई नो दिस इज वेरी तो क्रेडिटर्स का नंबर ही मालूम नहीं है। वो क्रेडिटर और उसका अकाउंटेंट या ओनर यूजर इज फाइटिंग और इतना तो नहीं है, हमारा नंबर टैली नहीं होता, ठीक है सर। Now this is where we have immense opportunity, immense means unbelievable. And inventories. Inventories is a huge subject we are doing. Cash flow management. I would say 8 out of 10 people are struggling with that. ठिकाना ही नहीं है। अरे भाई ये बात एंटिटी बिहार में तो स्टडी हुई है, वो तो सुनी मफलदार बात है। The maximum depth is 45 feet. मेरा बिल्डिंग का स्विमिंग पूल है 4.5 feet है, so I have no problem, I can just walk around. उधर गया तो सीधा अंदर। तो ये जो आपका है, unless you know your cash flow, कि पैसा आता है जाता है कहाँ जाता है मालूम नहीं है और फिगर भी नहीं है पक्का। तो this is where we can provide a very good, इसमें कैसे होगा वो भी routine statutory processes. This is where the government is becoming very strict and you have to have it. Now, this all means the fundamental thing that you must have timely, accurate and adequate information. When you are, these are the short-term goals. And generally, I believe they have employees strength of somewhere around 10%. Not all. Okay? Take a break. Take a break.
10 minutes break.
10 minutes. This is already your cost. Have nothing to lose. जितना जल्दी वापस आ जाओगे 10 मिनट में तो अच्छा। ओके, थैंक यू।
Common problems in the because lots of family businesses. So they micro economic basically micro. They don't have an intent of business. They know how much top line and percentage we earn, which are internal goodies, products, they read some books and don't. So creditor age, data age, it's all offline. that's what people already know that. Are you here? Please, Probably, we are CA, one accounts right in here. The last 1.5 months we. State of books. 50,000 letters. That less than 5 उसके लिए मामला ना आपके एटलीस्ट feasible नहीं। इसके लिए उसका वैल्यू सिस्टम करेक्ट है, वो सब उसका तो अपना चोपड़ा वोपड़ा मेंटेन कर रहा है, but then he is not wanting to pay professional. Being a professional, I got him a training, he's doing writing, now he's very satisfied with the service. So mindset change that we बहुत time लगता है, to change that mindset and not getting professionals. Their bread and butter is there. They put so much time behind all this. So that's what makes it क्या करेंगे वो ये जो हमारा लाइफ इजी करे एंटरप्रेन्योर का लाइफ इजी अभी जैसे आई अलाइन टू अ बैंक आईसीआईसीआई they have a portal where they generate links and they can correct payments वो उनके लिए एक बिजनेस करके टैब दे रहा है जो टाइम से ये होता है जो भी सेल्स पर्सन जाता है पैक लेके जाता है एंड देन दे गिव इमीडिएटली you know reports की मेरा आउटस्टैंडिंग तो पहले क्या होता था वो अकाउंटेंट को फोन करता था रिपोर्ट्स मिलते थे ये now all everything system depending on so people want to know that system based change या ground level change क्या करें हम जिससे you know things change and unfortunately so fast it's like that people don't want to invest time in people's business उसके पास 100 ऐसा client रहेगा But इसका limitation आपको पता है कि there is an MSME, they have limitation unfortunately. देखो below 1 crore वाले तो कोई भी level नहीं, proper account ready करना मतलब system generate कैसा करना है that's what we all have to do. हाँ तो टाइमिंग it's all I'm telling you my own husband is 20 crores of business 3-4 business पता ही नहीं कहाँ आ रहा है then I made him put tally when I got married to him then he put an accountant and then things have now he has become more a chartered accountant than me मेरे को सिखाता आता है ये law है because they're more into the market so they get me this हाँ नीचे मैंने I have struggled in my own house for 8 years to make them understand system balance.
I was struggling. Thank you. Update myself.
सारा टीम में
I also had a client.
So I find connections for.
That's the main.
Or it is dedicated.
Indian economy becomes very it's an important these are our living money. What we have invested in our exposure. What people within 2 months, we keep that. Yeah, we are in a we are in the stage of life where we have all kind of experience. Now we are in the
बच्चा में कंपटीशन होती थी नीचे रेस स्टार्ट करवानी we wish to attend the program. Some of the compulsions are there, some approvals, some signatures. I have loved them. We have also focused on the बच्चे हमारे तबियत खराब होती है प्यारे नहीं तो बच्चे हॉस्पिटल जाता है प्यारे was 9.
Makes sense. She's very into the going up and is. My wife is the only daughter of mine. They are all clear communication. Now, every generation also. Okay, friends. Get on. We have seen what are the short-term goals, which is primarily applicable for micro impact. As you progress towards what is the next stage? Small scale. What is your turnover then? 5,000, right? When you go there, this is how your approach to managing your business should change. You should focus more and more on top and bottom line. मेरा sales कितना हुआ? मेरा profit. That is where you focus. Designing and implementation of annual budgets. After the budgeting system, it is not necessary that you should have a very refined budgeting system. You can control your numbers because as an owner, आपको सब number का ज्ञान है. But only thing is, ignore your next time. Whoever is functioning in charge of it, and try to crystallize that number. So you do top and bottom line management, design and implement your annual budget system. Now we are in the year 24-25, right? So 24-25 में at the end of the year, when I close in March, मेरे को इतना sales होना चाहिए, कितना profit होना चाहिए. That is what should basically be done. Performance review integrated elements. Broadly, there may not be a very high-fi organizational structure and all that at this stage. आप broadly समझने की कोशिश करो कि किसको क्या काम दिया, how he has performed, and slowly develop that over a period of time, and convert it along with the inverse integrated MIS. Integrated MIS में क्या होगा? As we discussed, you will get all the reports from your accountants. That is where your focus should be. पूरा information घर से मिलना चाहिए. Decisions on product mix and capacity planning. Slowly and gradually, you have to reach to basically two landmarks. One, what is the product mix? Which product is going to be more profit? Which is the high capacity utilization? How I optimize it? First slide we can discuss what we want for our organization to survive for long. तो मेरे को ये समझना है कि मेरा कैपेसिटी प्लानिंग प्लांट 95-98% पे चलता है. You believe Shree Cements करके जो कंपनी है, had some corrections. They have been consistently been operating 100% plus. कभी 1-2% नीचे गया. They always been operating about it. So now you can imagine, those companies have been operating. Cash flow planning and working capital management. As your business is growing, 5 से 50 करोड़ भी grow हो रहा है, so you ought to have your cash flow planning and working capital management becoming a little more detailed, so that you are not defaulting, you are not taken by surprise, you are not having any default with anybody. To keep all these things lead you in building a great credit. वो आपको credibility बहुत मदद करेगा. Monitoring of capital expenditure and asset. That is how your capital expenditure and asset management is possible. Tax planning and administration. Tax planning is another thing. You should know with your consultants, sit and understand. ये क्या है इसके अंदर very big सब. आपको सब कुछ समझने का जरूरत है. Means I am talking about the owners. I'm basically on the owner side. Owners को सब कुछ समझने का जरूरत है ही नहीं. He has to only understand कि income tax है तो मेरा income tax का liability कितना होगा. GST है तो मेरा GST मेरे खिस्से में से कितना जाएगा. वो समझ लिया and then try to work on it. Legalities कौन सा form file करना, कौन सा form file नहीं करना, leave it to the tax. They are very good at it. So this is what you have to basically make them understand. Once they understand, they need to only 5-10% of it. That's how it is. Long-term goals and strategies. As the organizations, yeah, things like long-term goals and strategies. जैसे आपका organization बड़ा होने लगा, when you are moving from 50 to 250 crores, because 50 to 250 crores में भी there may be certain landmarks. आपका 50 का 75 हुआ, 100 हुआ, 150 हुआ, 200 हुआ. Then you are growing by leaps and bounds, and your fee from the business as a business owner will start increasing. When you are having this, what is the goal of the business? First, review of current business activities. आज का जो ecosystem है, the speed with which the economics is what we studied from the earlier slides. The speed with which the entire economy is changing, the entire business is changing. You need to look at, the review of current business activities. मेरा current business activities जो है, उसमें कुछ profitable है, कुछ नहीं है. Should I take it off and take you? Should I bring in products, something? तो ये जो आपको करना है, that is what, and this is possible when? When can you do this? When can you do this? As a owner, I'm talking about the business. When can you do this?
You have the data.
Yes. When you have पक्का data and information, कि मेरे को ये product में इतना मिलता है, ये product में इतना मिलता है इसमें, so then you are in a position to do it. Second is exploring new lines of activities. Ecosystem कैसे change होता है. Now, there is one example which I will quickly review. It's a video which I saw, and how the changing ecosystem has helped. And this is a classic example for micro, small vendors. ये बड़ौदा का एक चाय वाला है. Now he is selling tea worth maybe 100,000, 1,500 rupees or something. अभी वो करके कितने साल से इन्वेस्ट हुए थे, तो चलता रहता था. अभी वो क्या पेमेंट सिस्टम हो गया ना, यूपीआई पेमेंट सिस्टम, यूपीआई ऑनलाइन का. उसके बाद some people have come on, तो अभी क्या कर रहे हो, पता है रास्ते कितना वर्ष का चल रहा होता है, 1200 1500 क्या है, तो महीने का 30,000 रुपया हो, 30,000 रुपया हो रहा है. And this is all recorded. See, the biggest advantage of the current system is this is all recorded. 30,000 का आपका चल रहा है, तो नहीं कभी चांस कर, तो ईयर भी आपका हो गया कितना, 5-6 लाख रुपए. अभी जो आपका 5-6 लाख रुपए का टर्नओवर होता है, तो go to the bank and take the loan because you have all the supporting proof कि मेरे पास इतना 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 है, and उसके हिसाब से you can take the loan. बैंक भी, because this is all authentic information. ये बैंकर्स को प्रॉब्लम नहीं होगा. And MSME is coming out with all these things. These things are very important. तो होगा क्या, से थोड़ा क्या है, बिस्किट्स लगाऊंगा, पेट्रोल लगाऊंगा, so he will keep on expanding. Now this is what is possible. When you have all the data, you can do the economic system. You are in a position to increase your lineup. You can increase your business and do it. Financial structuring, business and personal. Financial structuring. This is where I have found that there is quite a lot of financial businesses. They have a very peculiar issue. Most of the time, within their working life, they don't focus on the personal finance, organizing their personal finance. And I have seen one of our very senior chartered. He was telling me, "Ki, Chaitanya, इसमें क्या कर रहे हैं?" I said, "They have to plan things well and do things. You read their life, how they are living in life. Business finance, because the fundamental principle. Can you advise? Oh, sorry, sorry. Sorry. You should have told me earlier. आपका जो फाइनेंस है, business finance and personal finance, and the company will, I have no hesitation in saying, my bosses were Marwadi. He will spend only 1 hour with me in a month because there are a lot of companies. So I will go from Mumbai to Calcutta and spend in advance because we know all the MSME, everywhere I can hear the master. Abhi, what will happen? This person would have gone through. In 1 hour, he will understand the entire कुंडली. हमारी कंपनी का पूरा कुंडली था. In 1 hour he will understand. और मेरे को बोलेगा चेतन भाई इतना काम है, बाकी का करो. And his philosophy with respect to this was neither the business should be starved of funds, nor it should be having excess liquidity. ये चीज बहुत समझने जैसी. You cannot allow excess liquidity to lie in the business, because then inefficiency will breed inefficiency. Similarly, when you are doing business, you must ensure that business is fed with liquidity. पैसा आना चाहिए, नहीं से you have to raise that. Otherwise, your business will go into negative very fast. So strategically, हाँ? Extra liquidity है, आपको बताऊं, psychology, owner से शुरू होता है. बैंक में 25 साल पढ़ा है. You do not force marketing man to go and collect the data. Data ऊपर हो गया, you will not bother. चलो ठीक है, इनका 5 दिन है, अब अपना 10 दिन है तो काम. But liquidity का crisis है, तो ढूंढेगा, कौन भी हो रहा है, पैसा लगा के लेके. Similarly, it happens in investments, where most of the time the money is blocked. This is what is a human psychology. You can't do anything. This is where you have to get trained. Strategic cost management. How you are managing your cost. is something which is very important. To see that your cost management is perfect in terms of every aspect of it, of your balance sheet. And business risk management, which is again a very big issue, and which is applicable more to the large businesses, but in the same rate, I will add that it will also equally applicable to the small business. Including small businesses more. तो ये कुछ change हो गया है, तो you are informed. अभी सीए को क्या है? What is the advantage for chartered accountants? So क्या है? When I am talking about the MSME segment. One, please have a very long association. I know of businesses where the chartered accountants continue for 50 years. 50 साल से same chartered accountant service के पास. My elderly brother like CA was not well known. He was their family advisor also. जितना भी मिल बनेगा, ट्रस्ट बनेगा, उसमें he is the trustee. He is the signature witness in all the documents. So you have normally a very long association, and as a result, you are the most trusted and confidential person. I know of, particularly, and we are talking about the MSMEs, not talking about the large businesses. There are situations where something which is not known to the family members is known to that. That is a kind of a secret and relationship. Okay, since I just suddenly remember, if you people want to read one book called Ultimate Gift. It's available on, it movie have started. It's available in the stores. Small book. But what are the engineering knowledges? We will understand. Third thing is, the chartered accountant also understand the business. Sometimes, जितना owner को मालूम नहीं है, उतना business उसको मालूम है. CA वाले. क्योंकि he deals with everybody. हर एक चीज का solution ultimately most of the time he brings down to the. तो उसको ज्यादा मालूम है business and owner understand. तो owner को भी अच्छी तरह से समझता है कि owner कभी मूवी हाँ करेगा कभी मूवी ना. He knows very well psychology. कोई problem नहीं है. Then knowledge and skill. Unfortunately, क्या हुआ है? And this I also raised a query in one of the very big for industry chartered. Knowledge and skills. Chartered accountants have phenomenal knowledge. उनका जो 3 साल का branding जो होता है during articulation is fantastic. Their analytical skills are good. They also have skills during their curriculum. They have learned everything what I have been talking about. The problem क्या है? उसका actual grassroots level पे utilization है. They have been busy in compliances, and that's why I say now chartered accountants have to move from compliance to value addition. You talk of value addition, how much value I can add to the business. And this, I'll have some discussion. How to monetize the value. I think you people are mastering it. Value जब भी देखेगा ना, I have seen business owners. When they see the value, they trust you because they have seen you for so many years. So if you see the value, if they see the value, don't pay, no problem. ऐसा नहीं होगा. I have started for 25 years. At a time, you know, when I discussed, at a time when nobody knew anything about this. किसी को कुछ मालूम नहीं.
Sir, you just mentioned the point. I totally agree that the market is pretty much developing for CAs, where they are shifting from traditional services to modern services. And I make the point what are the trust and confidence, and CAs have to do vast network. They as you go to 50 years a company may person is working. Maybe you give an example of your brother. that is associated with the family, personal level, not only the business level, okay? Maybe वही CA 10-15-20 फॉर्म से भी related होगा. Now if I onboard him and if I trust him to advise my business and consultancy point of view, what are the chances that वो बंदा जिस फॉर्म में काम कर रहा है उधर का जो भी इनपुट मुझे देगा, मेरा बिजनेस का कुछ उधर देगा. So there will be a discretionary requirement and that will limit his services at the end of the day. You understood my point?
Yeah. That's why you see most of the on disclosure agreement,
Correct, sir.
formally people sign. The value कितना मेरे को मालूम है. It really works for them. But it's a question of your trust and confidence in your relationships. And I have found that my generation chartered accountants are absolutely trusted.
तो आपकी जनरेशन है
कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं, अभी मेरे को एक्सपीरियंस नहीं है, because I've not been dealing with it. कि अभी क्या परिस्थिति है, बट हमारे जनरेशन में कोई कुछ भी नहीं जुड़ेगा. ऐसा है, मैंने देखा है सीए के ऑफिस के बाहर there are 3 brothers sitting. They are owning a father's business. 3 brothers sitting, they go into CA cabin one by one. And CA will not tell anybody anything कि वो आगे वाला क्या बोल के गया. So you have to
but when Africa generation values more money, if I pay the CA more money, it will definitely give me more services and if you know the industry seriously.
Integrating the basic quality of the standard.
integrity has to be. No, that you cannot. I think you can't live in society. Any society where there is no integrity and trust, I think that society is not worth living according to me.
The course has embodied the integrity.
If I go a little fast, the reason I tell you will otherwise miss one. I may have to speed up a little.
Actually, MSME, most of the owner are saying that, sir, we have appointed you to look after all this stuff. If we are explaining something that is beneficial for them in future, like data or like some ERP software, they are just 50% crowd are like that. Yes, sir, हमने आपको appoint किया इसके लिए, you should look after for this. Also, we are facing so many problems because of they are not providing data properly. And compliance is ultimately in MSME, there are mostly 3-4 compliance annual basis. Major compliance. They are saying, अरे sir, आपको रखा है इसके लिए, don't be excused. Just complete the compliance, don't complete the work. These are the big question in MSME. 50% crowd are like this.
I agree with you. And it's the mindset of the owner, trade owner. I have also, as I have been repeatedly saying, for 25 years I have been in this field. And I have dealt with all sorts of people. Those who have zero trust and those who have 100% trust. Not extreme पे काम किया. Now it is for us to take a call. In my case studies, just listen to that case studies carefully. You will get the idea. Somewhere you have to draw a line. You should be in a position to tell me that चलो फाइल उठाओ हमको नहीं करना है. वो करने की ताकत होनी चाहिए. I have given up so many clients. नहीं करना है तो आप बात नहीं सुनते हो. I am not interested. क्योंकि मेरे को रिजल्ट ही नहीं मिलेगा. Because my work is different. I am not like filing a return or something. My work is totally different. तो ऐसा होता है. दूसरा अपने पास नॉलेज एंड स्किल का प्रचुर भंडार बहुत सिखाया है अपने कॉलेज. नाउ वो मेरा नया विचार डायरेक्टेड they are not updated. Focus has to change from compliance to value addition. Basic lines, compliance to value addition. इतना आप दिमाग में भर लो, because they need. The problem is the owner is still not in a position to understand the gravity of the situation in which they are already in. वो समझते नहीं. अभी आप कितना समझाओगे उसको? So they have to become. I'm thinking something about that also. कि how they could be done. उनको भी समझाना जरूरी. एक साइड से तो काम हो. Right? Now opportunities for that. This is the first one. CFO services and CFO related services. अभी तो क्या है कि पूरा दोबारा बहुत जोर से चल रहा है. And we see so many people working in this area. But with all modesty, I will say, in 1998, when I started from industry, I left industry and moved, I was the first one to come out with this concept. And article had come in Bombay started in business standard on first page. ये कुछ कॉन्सेप्ट लेके कोई आदमी आ रहा है और कुछ लोग people are not even I am also not very clear क्या क्या कर सकते हैं. So this is something which is the ultimate aim. Whether you are a CFO or an accountant for a 5 crore company, 10 crore company, or 25 crore company, or 100 crore. The goal more or less remains. It is you who have to articulate. Understanding the owner, you articulate what exactly is something that you really be able to digest. Changing role of finance. Finance, in my lifetime, I have seen 3 levels of finance. One is accountant. एक purely accountant जिसको हम गुजराती में या मारवाड़ी में मेहता जी बोलते हैं. उसका रोल क्या है? सेठ ने बोला होगा. सेठ ने बोला होगा क्या? उसका एक फेमस जोक है और वो टाइम इज तो एक दिन सेठ के पिता गुजर गए. तो तब वो अंतिम क्रिया का स्मशान का जो भी कुछ खर्चा था वो सबका बिल सेठ ने दे दिया अकाउंट में. वो बोला साहब पिताजी गुजर गए, उसका खर्चा नहीं बिजनेस में कैसे करूँगा? चुप या उसको पति ने फॉरवर्डिंग में डाला. So ये जो है ना, that was the mindset of owners कि वो मेरा एम्प्लॉई है, मैं जो बोलूँ उसको करूँ. Now that changed to controller. In the next stage what happened? ये owners started using them as a controller. कि भाई तू मेरा watchdog है, you have to look after all the other functions. मार्केटिंग में जाके तुम पूछ सकते हो कि सेठ ने ऐसा बोला है, ये करो, आपका सेल प्राइस ये क्यों कम आया, रेट जैसा क्यों हुआ, इन्वेंटरी में जाके पूछ सकते हो. So he became a controller. And now the role is that of a facilitator and a facilitator. Now the CFO or the chartered accountant or whoever is working for that business, he is more a business partner and facilitator. For वो आपको ये रोल धीमे धीमे समझ में आएगा और financial management and management. I am sick of thinking on this particular subject. क्या हो रहा है? As you go, it's a pyramid. ये जो pyramid है, उसमें at the top, which takes maximum 5 to 10% of your time. But it is doing aligning financial strategy. शेख के दिमाग में जो कुछ भी है, उसको कुछ नया प्रोडक्ट लाना है, कुछ बिजनेस एक्सपेंशन करना है, कोई दूसरा फैक्ट्री डालना है, तो जो भी है वो शेख के माइंड में, that is his strategic thinking, strategic planning वो कर रहा है. But he is not discussing with the head of the accounts of the finance. अभी वो जब तक डिस्कस नहीं करेगा, तो अलाइनमेंट तो होगा नहीं. गाड़ी आगे जाने का सोचती है, लेकिन पहिया है ही नहीं उसको. तो you can't do that. That is what is something which is very important. You have to align finance with strategy. जो भी, these are all house heights I am found words. But कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता. आप जो कुछ भी सोचते हो, मेरा बिजनेस के साथ इंसाइड 5 साल में जाना है, तो उसके लिए क्या करना है, उसके लिए मुझे फाइनेंस कैसे करना है. That is something which is the most important starting point for any business. ये होना है. It may not be there in a micro kind of, maybe in a very small scale, but कुछ ना कुछ तो उसको भी होना है. नंबर क्रंचिंग उसको करना है. Second is integrating with operational. जब भी मेरा बिजनेस चल रहा है, तो ओनर, एमडी या उसका बोर्ड अगर होगा तो बोर्ड, या एक तो फैमिली बिजनेस. तो नेक्स्ट लाइन जो है, is something which is the crux. That is what the revenue of the organization is. तो पूरा का पूरा बिजनेस आपको हो सकता है. चाहे वो मार्केटिंग मैनेजर हो, एचआर का हो, आईटी का आदमी हो, स्टोर्स का आदमी हो, जो भी है, all these people they basically run. तो इसका भी जो कोऑर्डिनेशन होना है, वो होना पड़ेगा. ये नहीं होगा तो ये क्या आएगा, एली और दूसरा जाएगा बैंगलोर और फिर मरते रहो कुछ नहीं होगा. So that is something which is very good. Third thing is compilation of complete, accurate and timely. तीसरा जो है प्रश्न, you have to compile complete, accurate and timely data. मैंने 5 तारीख को बैलेंस शीट दे दिया तो खाली मैंने प्रिंट आउट निकाल लिया टैली में से और फिर को दे दिया. That is not timely. It should be both complete and accurate. अभी आपका मंथली P&L अकाउंट या बैलेंस शीट निकालने के लिए आपको जो टेक्निकली कॉल एडजस्टमेंट एंट्रीज, monthly adjustment entry, quarterly adjustment entry, are you geared for it? And unfortunately, my experience is, forget about the ऊपर के दो की बात को भूल जाओ. People are struggling with the last one. People are struggling with the last. And this is where huge opportunity. क्योंकि इसको एक दफे कुछ दिखेगा कि this is where कुछ है, so then they will start listening. ऐसा होना चाहिए. Now, workflow. How the work flows from top to bottom. When you are on a top position, you are doing annual budgets, capital expenditure, working capital management, key ratios. All these things you are doing, which is part of the strategy. And this you are aligning with the what? You are aligning with the business owner's plans for growth in the next 3 years. कि वो 3 साल में क्या करना चाहता है? If he is wanting his business to grow from 25 crores to 50 crores, तो उसके लिए क्या क्या लगेगा? What are the things which are required? This a smart chartered accountant, smart CFO will work out, make his, the business owner sit and explain to him कि सब आपको ये करना पड़ेगा. एक दफे नहीं सुनेगा, 2 दफे नहीं सुनेगा, बाद में तो उसको सुनना पड़ेगा. Because without that he is not able to move forward. Second is timely information, sales, purchase, production. आपका जो annual जो routine coordination, जो भी आपने उधर unfortunately there is no lights are not able to be there. Unfortunately आपने जो decide किया है annual budget इतना होना चाहिए. वो जो सब है वो आपको yearly level पे वो करना है कि मेरा इस साल में इतना सेल्स होगा, कितना प्रॉफिट होगा, कितना प्रोडक्शन होगा, कितना इन्वेंटरी रहेगा, कितना डेटर्स रहेगा, कितना क्रेडिटर्स रहेगा. All those things have to be there. And उसके लिए what will happen? For everything there are different people. This is where it has to be properly. That is where the workflow of accounting works. और ये आज किसी के पास नहीं. Those who have got it, they can go on. Third is collection of data, recording, processing, outputs and cash flow. जो आपका डेटा हो, अकाउंट से अल्टीमेटली रिकॉर्डिंग, आपका बेसिक डॉक्यूमेंट्स है, कैश पेमेंट, कैश फ्लो, बैंक वाउचर्स, सेल्स बिल्स, परचेज बिल्स, थोड़ा इन्वेंटरी रिलेटेड रिकॉर्ड एंड सेल्स हो गया. कोई भी कंपनी हो, इससे ज्यादा डॉक्यूमेंट है नहीं उसका. There will be all sorts of varieties in this. I have seen hundreds of varieties in this. But these are all your fundamental documents. उसका flow जो है वो आपको यहाँ control करना. This is the basic thing which again I say with my sober and it's a very painful thing for me. कि ये जो है यही नहीं है ये. And particularly companies up to 100 crores, they are struggling on this. So this is something, workflow of accounting becomes very important, and this is where conceptualization, इसमें जो दिमाग लगाना है, that is where chartered accountants have phenomenal skill. Phenomenal skill. अभी एक्सपर्टीज और है.
सर आपने जो प्रीवियस स्लाइड कैलकुलस बोला है सर, ये आप जो दिखा रहे हो, दिस इज अ पिरामिड व्हिच शोस डिजिटल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. मतलब आप जो पिरामिड दिखा रहे हो, टॉप लेवल, मिडिल लेवल एंड ऑपरेशनल लेवल, हमारे एमबीए में इसको डिजिटल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन बताया जाता है. एंड दिस प्रॉब्लम इज ऑलरेडी बीइंग सॉल्व्ड बाय ईआरपी एंड सीआरएम. अगर कोई भी आप ईआरपी और सीआरएम सॉफ्टवेयर लेते हो, डिपेंडिंग अपनी ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल गोल्स एंड ऑब्जेक्टिव्स, you CA's work is not to do operational stuff at the end of the day. CA's work is basically to strategize, right?
ये नीति है. आपका क्या सुधार को ये जो है ना, सीआरई में जो पर्सनल लाइब्रेरी का
फिर लाइब्रेरी का
नहीं पता था, ये जो है तेरा शुरू की मेरे पास योगा हम कंपेयर योगा टीचर आई हैव योगा में 10 यूनिट प्योर माय बिजनेस अंदर साइड की योगा सेम टू दैट आई हैव टॉकिंग टू समबडी इन योर टॉकिंग हैविंग डायबिटीज क्यों क्योंकि बुक्स है एंड दिस इज द होल प्रॉब्लम. थियरी में सब कुछ पढ़ा है जिसको you know what I have my MS integrated MS most powerful. अभी किसी से भी बात करें मिलता है टैली में मिलता है. अभी वो कौन सा नया आया है तो सबके अंदर मिलता है. अरे भाई वो रिपोर्ट क्या है वो समझ में आता है क्या? ओनर को वही समझ में नहीं आता है. क्यों चाहिए वो रिपोर्ट? एनीवे इट्स अ वेरी लॉन्ग वर्क. अभी एक्सपर्टीज ऑफ नॉलेज, आप जब ये काम करते हो तो आपका जो एक्सपर्टीज है, when you are, it may be only 10% of your work, but it requires 80% of your knowledge. Length and breadth of the knowledge. When you are working at the highest level in the strategic management, working with the annual plan, business plan, integrity, 3-year, 5-year plan, वो टाइम पे आप जो करते हो requires 80% of your capabilities. नेक्स्ट जो है facilitator budget cost account for 15-20%. But there again, what is most important? Your human caliber. How you are able to get along. तो आपने प्रीवियस स्लाइड में देखा कि रोल कैसे चेंज हुई फ्रॉम अकाउंटेंट टू कंट्रोल. अकाउंटेंट कंट्रोलर का रोल नहीं चलेगा. इफ यू गो एंड आस्क प्रोडक्शन मैनेजर, अरे प्रोडक्शन ऐसा क्यों नहीं हुआ, यू नो सेकंड टाइम आपको टैली में नहीं मिलेगी. योर कैलिबर हियर इज मोर इंटरेस्ट. एंड थर्ड इज पैकेज. You are going to have perfect accounting system. आपके पास perfect accounting system. अभी perfect accounting system का मतलब क्या है? Frankly, I am sorry to say it's a little bit. Some people, you know, whenever I ask you, अरे टैली में जाके ट्रेस किया P&L अकाउंट, तो P&L अकाउंट आ जाएगा. अरे वो आया वो सही है कि नहीं? बैलेंस शीट ट्रेस किया, बैलेंस शीट आ जाएगा. पर उसके लिए every time 1 month, 3 months, 6 months आपको जो एडजस्टमेंट एंट्रीज डालनी है, कट ऑफ ट्रांजैक्शंस देखना है, वो उसका कौन करेगा? सो दिस बेसिक नॉलेज इज टोटली मिसिंग. दिस इज वेयर पीपल हैव टू कैरी. सो व्हाट हैपेंस एज अ CFO? When you are taking the role of a CFO, तो छोटा कंपनी है, बड़ा कंपनी है, again it will depend on that. Business analyst and strategy. आपको आप ओनर को एडवाइस करते हो कि आपका जो 3-4-5 साल का जो है उसमें कैसे कर सकते हैं, क्या क्या करना है, हाउ इट इज डन, व्हाई इट इज डन. वो उसके साथ तालमेल लगा और उसके लिए हिज ओन नॉलेज बेस हैज टू बी परफेक्ट. आज कोई भी समझेगा कि अरे उसको 10 साल का एक्सपीरियंस है, मेरे को भी 10 साल का एक्सपीरियंस, तो मैं क्या जाके क्यों नहीं कर सकता? अरे भाई उसका 10 साल का एक्सपीरियंस अलग है, आपका 10 साल का एक्सपीरियंस है. We are not in a position to do it. So first is business analyst, Second is facilitator. You are facilitating the entire coordination through numbers. Because at the end of the day, you have to stick to the budget numbers. मेरा जो भी budget number है, जो भी मेरा projection is, and periodically I need it to change. So how fast I am able to change and incorporate is something which is very correct. And third is academic knowledge. It has to provide complete inputs regarding ensuring that your system which is generating the data, your financial numbers are absolutely accurate and not challenging. Because of this, we had one very big question. And one very senior chartered accountant, one very senior from that company. And he wanted to very for something. I was coordinating. We were in marketing, validation, and service context. And then, finance का कैसे? तो asking me, well, I'm showing you one paper, which I always carry in my pocket. When she left that, it's okay. He saw that, asked me a question. He said, I don't know what to do. So clarity of your numbers, how you are applying your mind, and what is your value system? As an individual, as a owner, as a professional, what is your integrity in your business is something which is very important because in the long term, that is the only thing which will come. CFO competencies at all levels, concept design, implement, monitor, and review, in contextual interpretation. This is what the CFO is supposed to do. Conceptualize and design the framework. मेरे को ओनर का जो बिजनेस था या उसका जो बिजनेस प्लान है उसको कैसे इंटीग्रेट करना है विद फाइनेंशियल नंबर्स हाउ आई इंटीग्रेट दैट इज व्हाट इज conceptualized and design. And second is implement, monitor and review. Because that ultimately आपका 5 साल का बजट है उसको ईयरली में कैसे करना है that is something where your expertise as a finance head matters, and that is what has to be done. And contextual interpretation of every information report which comes, how the management has to look at it, how your colleagues for the second point has to look at it is something which has to be seen. As business analysts, we are discussing the issue to align strategy. I think we decided in scheme. See, here are the last few lines. Not necessary to have large businesses. If you are conceptually clear, then business and financial planning, even in reasonably large business, can be done. 5-10 crore का भी business है. If you are conceptually clear, this can be done. Business and financial plan क्या है? I compare it to the building. अब कोई भी बिल्डिंग में इंजीनियरिंग हो गई, वो क्या करते हैं? सबसे पहले ब्लूप्रिंट हो जाता है उसका बिल्डिंग, प्लांट कंस्ट्रक्ट करने का, हाईवे कंस्ट्रक्ट करने का, तो उसका ब्लूप्रिंट हो जाता है रेडी. And once that is done, that becomes a base for your future work. Provides direction and purpose. In a big project, unless you have your design forecast, everybody will work in different directions. If the design work is very clear and clearly communicated, everybody knows कि मेरे को इधर करना है, इधर करना है, इधर करना है, and then you integrate the whole. Provide milestones. You also know, अभी अटल ब्रिज हुआ, then that underground tunnel हुआ अपना परिमल पड़ जाए. Now, how quickly those projects have been done? Orchestra and music. You have to remember that you are playing as an assistant to the owner who is the orchestra music player. There may be 200 instrument players, 200 employees in the organization. उसके पास एक instrument नहीं है. फिर भी he knows how to monitor the music and generate a fantastic. That is the ability which he has to develop. And that's why I always say, SMEs don't to fail, but as an essence fail. तो समझते नहीं इसको। As a facilitator, आप क्या कर सकते हो? Since it's already 12:30, how long can we exceed? Or no?
It is all over the members.
Are you comfortable exceeding the 5-10 minutes or no? Okay. Then I will keep so fast. Facilitator का रोल जो है उसके अंदर ये भी I already explained. Catalyst का भी रोल I explained. Now you see the difference between engineering and accounts or finance. The industry where I was working, we had these 7 stages. Raw material will come, mixing will take place, extrusion, that's the technical term, baking will take place, PI will take place, vaporization will take place, and finishing will take place. Now, in engineering, to understand one thing, at each stage, there are stringent specifications. Raw material आना है तो raw material का क्या specifications? And then there are verifications. जब भी माल आएगा, तो we see whether those are being done or not. Next stage, otherwise it will not be clear. It will go for records. अभी आप accounts देखिए. Accounts में data is generated, cash voucher, bank voucher कुछ भी. Classification होता है. Some accountant is doing classification, गलती से wrong हो जाता है. Entry होता है बाद में, कुछ गलत पटन गया, something went wrong. Basic outputs आता है बाद में, then statutory compliances होता है, audit होता है, and then the reporting. Where is the quality? There is no quality. Like what is there in science. This is what is the risk which we are carrying, and how to correct it is something. And this all these I have done for 20 years in 2 companies, right from the scratch level. Information matrix. Information matrix जो होता है 3 लेवल पे, उसमें जो टाइम फ्रेम है ना, and the last one, you will just look at that part. See, top management को जो information जाता है, is all related with future and external factors. This he may not have any control, you may not, of course, you don't have any control. But management does not have any control. So ये जो आपको futuristic जो decision, and that is the decision support system. How fine tune the information. आपको information जिसको technically those who are having access, it is called as validation of assumptions. जितना भी assumptions है, कि my business will grow at 10%. तो 10% कैसे number लेके आया? हवा से लेके आए? Or what is the basis for those 10 numbers? 10%. So that validation of futuristic production, futuristic information and decisions. जितना आपका ये process strong होगा, उतना वो आपका information will be fantastic. It will be something which is reliable, which you can do. Second जो है, it is based on past and current, which is your yearly budget kind of one. वो yearly budget में क्या क्या होता है, क्या नहीं, that is the thing. वो जो है, it is executive information system, which is for all the functional heads which they use. अभी उसमें क्या होता है, internal and external दोनों होता है. If you are having a marketing protection, उसमें internal external दोनों. Inventories है, उसमें भी internal external. Debtors का collection, creditors का collection same. And current information जो है supervisory management, it is purely based on transaction process. How you are processing your transactions, how clear is your information is something which will decide this, and this in turn will help the above two to have a better, reliable information reports. About this is the role of a CFO. Second is CFO related. CFO में क्या होता है? आपका काफी टाइम लगता है, but then there is a possibility that you can pick up some part of this, which you can do. CFO related services. इसमें designing accounting system. This is the basic fundamental. accounting, जो उनका accounting heads, I have seen that in the same company, the trial balance will get 3, 4 different types of accounting heads, which has no meaning or have overlapping meanings. I mean, उसको आप क्या करोगे? So this is something you can help them in designing a very good accounting system. These are all standalone. Some people were asking about fees part of it. This is where you can also put your fees in a proper manner. Quickly. Once you do this, if he is satisfied, you can go to the next step. Or Udar, that is where you build your credibility. Second is systems and processes. Systems and processes planned, HOCA, cash bill passing. Now, these are, systems and processes, something which is very important. The speed with which and accuracy with which it works is something which is the core. आप वो करा सकते हो, so then your credibility of information will increase. Some people, we had a company where I was working, at one point of time, we used to take 3 to 4 months for finalization. And that too, previously of the board meeting when the account had to be approved, we would be scratching our head with one and pass. After I took over, slowly I used to run it out. Then we had a situation where Andy will tell me, "Chaitanya, you go slow. They were judging me, and we will 15 days, things will be over. Late sitting, almost zero. I'll give you one example, what in good old days we used to do. Sales tax was a big pain. Sales tax साल खत्म हो गया, we will go and dump the records. I was sitting with all boys. After करते क्या? When you are sitting late, after 5:15, आप लोग करते क्या हो? तो हर एक के साथ जाके बैठने का 1-1.5 घंटा समझने का बहुत just keep on. One of the things I observed was, so sales tax वाला आगे बढ़ना हो गया, इसका डबल करके बढ़ गया. When simultaneously we had a sales tax assessment going on, which is coming after 3-4 years in those days. So we were facing a lot of problems. So if we are doing finalization, I told him, you know what music you have faced for 4-year-old assistant. Abhi, when you are closing your accounts and closing your sales tax things, you finish everything which is required for assessment. Beforehand, assessment bane 3 saal ke baad. So what happened when the assessment comes, you are absolutely comfortable. The problem is, in most of the cases, what happened, the employee is gone, boss has gone, and then you are scratching head, अरे अभी क्या करूँ, कैसे करूँ? You foresee what is going to come, and then work on it. So it will work. Designing costing system. Okay, now this is a very interesting, I'll very quickly mention. You have to do this, and you need to choose. Got market push to upper. So, yeah, started looking. And then within less than 3 weeks, proved it to him that you are using only 70% of your cash. And the question is not of your excess orders. Question is deficit of orders. Your orders are only going to meet 70% if you run a plan. Perfect. So this is what it is. Designing costing system. How you optimize operations of the plant. Inventory systems, scheduling, inventory levels. Sometimes inventory are buying. Nobody knows क्या हो रहा है. उसका infrastructure है होता है. Projections quarterly, Now, you can also help them with the projections. How to do the projection? Once some initial things have been done, maybe आप 3 महीने का 6 महीने का महीने तक कर दो. Computerizing. Computerizing of ERP system is something which is absolutely solid. And it can cover so many things of the earlier part. वो आपका computerization अच्छा करके दिया. There has to be the right thing. Then it will work tremendously. MIS reports is something which is very important. क्या क्या देखना चाहिए? What is to be seen? That periodic review with functional data analysis. If you are senior enough, if you know your business sense, which है आपके पास, and if the owner is willing to trust, you help them. That okay, your monthly review. After we back, you get this, and I will help you how to conduct the meeting. What questions to ask? Normally क्या होता है? Most of the time they ask questions which are not relevant. And it exposes the owner in front of his juniors. यार उसको तो कुछ समझ में आता नहीं है, फिर मेरे को कुछ सवाल पूछता है, ऐसा सवाल नहीं पूछता. This is what happens. And this is what also can be outsourced. Chartered accountants can play a good role if they have understood the business of the owner perfect. अरे, खट गया. These have given you role clarity. Marketing gives a sales plan. PTC, production planning and control. They are supposed to see finished goods, work in process inventory, materials requirement, and then confirm to the sales what delivery date you can confirm, or what delivery date you can talk to the sales. Then inventory and stores, based on this production planning, inventory and stores have to meet materials in stock loads and requirements. Then purchase, order, placement, lead times and time delivery. Then there is finance, complete sector. अभी इसमें क्या होता है? Now coming to the original chart, what is strategic management? Setting targets and goals. मेरे को कितना sales करना है? In a year, in a quarter, in a month. Then you break it down. That is what you do. Tactical management, coordination between functions. How this is to be done. Now this is where budgets to control. Budget, you know what are numbers? It could be on the back of the paper also. Now this is where CS can play a role. CFO can play a role. Chartered accountant can play a role. Operations management in each function. Each function has to basically do how their processes are set into the because only accounts are perfect, this thing, it's not going to. Every one should have the right state. ये जो है ना, this is my favorite slide. Can anybody make out what it is? See, you have to travel from A to point B.
Transportation.
You have to travel from point A to point. See, let us take the example of filing a bank application or increasing the loans. And you can take any example. A to B. Now, if you are perfect, if your GPS system is perfect to the dot, you will finish it in 9 months. Straight. No wastage of time anyway. If your system is slightly either A से B जाने को M route के through जाओगे, so you will take 21 days. And your system is lethargic, incompetent, you will take 36 days. Now just take the example. Take the example of two things which are very relevant to our CA profession. One is your finalization, and other is filing a bank application for increasing your loan facility. Now, if you are able to finish it in 9 days, most of the people, they come with the numbers on TV at the end of every quarter. 9 days onwards, they start coming. That is their perfect GPS. Whole system is working perfect. Bank application, if you are able to finish it in 9 days, and submit it to the bank, you can be difference. How it will make a difference. Instead of that, when you take 23 days, what happens? You don't understand the severity of this. क्या हो रहा है? And this is happening in almost every decisions. And that is the reason why you are not growing. You are absolutely carefree. होता है चलता है ऊपर वाला करता है वो नहीं it doesn't work. They run after the symptom, cause co-analyze it. And cause is 7 times or 8 times, then the symptom of this. Now, I'm looking at the case studies and additional opportunities. Chalo. I mean, you could run through, but we are already at 12:44. I would like to finish it off by one day. Now, this is a long list of case studies. Presented today. And I have not given the names, I've just given some names of the activities what they are doing. Waterproofing. This was one of my first clients. He was one of my ex-colleagues' son. Brilliant, super brilliant. And he was into water. I'm not. How do we? Operations were very nice, very good operations. Then I just casually asked him, can you check what are your competitors charging for waterproofing cost? He said, no, sir. I'm not done. Then he started going and checking. He was charging 16 rupees. Competitors were charging up to 20 rupees. All his profits came from it. His operations were perfect, no problem with it. So this is something you have to look at minute, every component of your balance sheet, P&L account. Limitations of a bank. Very interesting things. I didn't hear. One person was working in a very large firm, very large. And for some time, thought, production model, technology model. मेरे को materials का sourcing भी मालूम है, materials cost, मुझे market मालूम है, market में काम बेचने का, लाइफ का very startups, उसके लिए मैं क्यों काम? तब समझ, आपके समझा तो बेलना ही and within 4-5 years, I think when I went to the work, I went there, I realized that this balance sheet was in such a mess. Take these figures at a time. Not a single penny, they have no clue about that. I said, I can't do this. But then we find out something and create a team who is willing to pump in more money looking at the report and get the right team. I can't comment again. This is a logistics company done to the purpose. Logistics company. Number of very high number of pound. Yeah, appropriate is very so, after this for other people. We said, we have around 20 locations from where we are getting business. So, ये तो 20 है ये टाइप के कंपनी को बाहर किधर सुना होगा कोई कंपनी प्रॉफिट सेंटर है now प्रॉफिट सेंटर लगा क्या प्रॉफिट सेंटर का कॉन्सेप्ट होगा वो समझ नहीं आता है तो समझ नहीं हो रहा है से बात नहीं ना क्यों प्रॉफिट है industry properly tied up and everything should ultimately tally with your trial balance and P&L account. Without that, you can't do anything because that is the ultimate number. Then we did that, and then those figures started reconciling. And if you are asking a branch manager, कि भाई आपका ये नंबर में प्रॉब्लम है, तो he will ask for the proof. He will not accept it straight away. So you can give him all the numbers also, if your accounting system is in place. Costing, pricing and financials. One very big person, listed one. It's problem was that he was, see, this is one of the problems with the business. He was highly technological. He had got one of the best technology related to the restaurant industry. But he had a monopoly client, who was only going to all of this. And they started twisting his arms. And as a result, he ran into serious. We had some discussion. We need to diversify, do something else. And based on that diversification, he will be in a position to reduce the volume paisa. He is neither increasing the price of product and he is also not giving money in that. And that is why this man ran into problem. Confectionery business. It was purely costing issue where the issue was that they were making much more, many number of confectionaries than what they can manage. And as a result, their inventory and production costs were very, very. So first decision we took was, if tomorrow, yes, can the 10 brands here, you focus only on. You need not have 50. That can make up for service. This I explain, importance of dissemination of information. One of the question, very big question is construction related. तो उसका प्रॉब्लम क्या है? His mindset was, although good, extraordinary in his work, knowledge, his problem is, he will not disseminate information to down the line. जितना भी आदमी है, all these people who are handling their profits, they should get the information. Then only you can ask them question. Then only they can take corrective action. So those things were set right. Personal and business finance, something I touched upon. Unless you look after this, chartered accountants have time and again asking us, you have to start at an early age. Otherwise, there is a problem. One business for last, I would say, 12 years, I have been doing mentoring for. I also started working in a counselor, other ends. अभी उसका problem है. Fantastic business. इतना margin था, 60, 70, 50, 60% margin. But because they couldn't come, आज father का कभी भी ठीक नहीं, he is also in a business. Son is also not doing it, and the business is on cranes, inventory management, person wants. Now, inventory management, cranes का business, all your internet saying cranes for hire. अभी वो कहीं का business है, purely it was an inventory management. Parts का, how the logistics of the inventory is working. This is a very big topic for itself. I have authored one book, What Indian SMEs Need. It was published by Indian Merchants Chamber, 2011. Usme I have dealt with this chapter in detail. Personal want versus business needs. You will invariably find, particularly business is what will turnover of 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Their personal wants, मेरे को imported car चाहिए. Every 1 year I should change the car. My children should study best. Every year I should have 3 foreign trips. अभी ये जो है, and the other hand, the business is starving for wants of essential funds. Now this is where personal wants versus business needs. Those people, I have seen people who have liquidated all their assets and put into the business because they know that it is badly required. And then do the business. Financial accounting streamlining and presentation. Accounts, there were hardly any. Bankers and institutions were sitting on their. Ultimately, they could come out by putting everything in clear, but they are manufacturing just cylinders and having 20 projects. Now, this is us, slightly difficult for me. Case study, bank working out. The bottom line is very clear. MSME का जो सबसे बड़ा बैंक का प्रॉब्लम है, and this I am telling with authority for the simple reason that about 10 years back, I addressed 27 senior managers of a private sector bank on what is the issue with SMEs. SME का problem क्या है? वो आप समझो उसको. I was shocked that all the 27 managers who were sitting there, including GM and ED, they were not having a पल्ले पड़ रहा है. So ये जो issue है, this is a very big issue, and this is where I also give people want to be available. I'll skip this. This is the key aspect. ये कोई नहीं करता है. And I say this with 100% confidence. When you are doing a banking transaction, loan transaction, there are two parties. One is the lender and the other is the borrower. Lenders का पूरा system is in place. They know each and everything, what documents to be signed by you, what collateral to be taken, everything they know. वो आपको बराबर जकड़ के रखे. But when it comes to the borrower, सब हवा में. He doesn't know anything. He catches hold of somebody, कुछ होता है. Can't go in greater detail of this, but actually क्या होना चाहिए? The borrower, he must understand and have his assessment of requirements perfect. Whether it is working capital, whether it is term loan, or whether it is private equity or something of this there, that he must. Second is, there are today, as I said, there are tremendous options, particularly for the micro and small scale. Tremendous options. Each of the borrower or each of the lender, they have their own systems. Understand what is the source from where I have to do it. For MSME evaluation, they need to do it. They need to evaluate what are the different schemes available and then work on a scheme of us. Third is presentation and follow. Presentation and follow-up with the banker or with the lender. And using a strong word is horrible. Horrible is the only thing. And I'm at 71, and that's why I'm using strong language. Because I know what kind of things are, these people go through. Presentation and follow-up. Presentation, क्या कोई बना के दिया, क्या हुआ, कुछ मालूम नहीं. ऐसा मिला मेरे को, मेरा 5 लाख 5 करोड़ का क्रेडिट था, मेरा 8 करोड़ का. 3 करोड़ मिला ना मजा. And this is where the biggest question of the banking borrower-lender relationship, credibility. आपकी credibility तभी बनेगी when your presentation and follow-up is perfect. And for this post-completion, you have to analyze and utilize. जो purpose के लिए मैंने borrow किया था, वो purpose has been met or not? I wanted to borrow for increasing my capacity from 2,000 tons to 3,000 tons. Am I getting it or not? तो पैसा कहाँ गया? There is the biggest allegation on the small scale industry कि तुम्हारा पूरा पैसा डाइवर्ट होता है from short term to long term. And when you do this, it's a win-win for all. Any business transaction, anything in life, unless it is win-win for all, it cannot survive alone. Be it society, be it business, or anything. आपको win-win situation ही create करना है. Now, these are, the options which are there, business stages and funding options. Idea and startup, own family, friends, micro plus angel funding आता है. Now, here, with angel VC and all that, the advantages, that are experts. They know the business activities in and out. And if they act as a mentor to it, or if they are getting involved in controlling, then your business is, chances are, if you are honest, businessman, and you want to do the job right from the right end, so this can happen. Well, it's very important that your business model should be strong. Your accountability you should be willing to accept. Your values should be in place. Your performance has to be as per what is on the expected line, 5-10% either on the, or if there is a genuine reason you vote. I know of one particular paper you is back to 2002-3. ICICI was the famous. So we might be on level 4. The unit was in red. But we proved to them that amongst all the paper units in India, because the situation is bad, they are the best. And they agree for it. So you should know the facts and then and governments for it. Opportunities for business, broader things which I am talking about. As a CA of the internal audit is one area. I have done with one public unit for 4 years. Then we can move to routine at that. First year, the focus of the management was for compliance is we should not have any adverse demand in our annual we do our public. Then CFO was very smart. He used our services for streamlining all his internal systems and processes. Sub clear हो गया. So you can add, and there is a huge return. In internal audit, you can clear fantastic funding, banks and NBFCs need to discuss. IBC, insolvency and bankruptcy code just come now. There are huge scopes. Fantastic scope which are available. And people can do a lot of value addition and to the best of my knowledge and which the way I interpret the entire thing. There is a possibility that even if you are not an IT, there should be a possibility that people can join like this in helping them develop. Because there are some people who are immense clarity about their part. Angel, venture, and private equity. Angel, this venture, and private equity, very huge possibility. And they also need a good professional on the other side of the field. So that is what we done. And CAs are very well respected. SME IPO. It's a big thing. And one of the very senior person from this field, we were at a conference. He publicly said, made a statement that I have a lot of issues with respect to SME owners and their knowledge of finance. And he says that is why IPO, SME IPO issues are not problem. And things get into a problem. इसके साथ there is another thing which is coming up to my is investor relationship. This could be a new field where post IPO, if the business is doing very well, but what happens, they don't know how to project their company or their business. They are not getting the kind of a valuation which others are getting. So if one gets into this, I know people who are into this business. And mind you, there is tremendous competition. And I'm making this statement with all responsibility. I know of groups of who are doing a lot of work in these areas. And they may or may not be factory accounts, but lot of things are happening. So they are trying to grab the opportunities. MSME Act and the schemes. There are a number of schemes which are there. One of the groups where I had gone and attended the meeting, that person is identifying some of the schemes which come under MS and focusing only on that one or two schemes. He understands, mastered the entire utility, तो उसके ऊपर बैंक को काम करा. Credit rating. To my mind, again, credit rating. Credit rating is one of the most satisfying. I have had discussion in the previous time with Priscilla and Ikra. And I said to them, that boss, आप लोग जो करते हैं, तो मेट्रो पुलिस से आता है ना, तो डायग्नोस्टिक रिपोर्ट बना के देती है. डायग्नोस्टिक रिपोर्ट, क्रेडिट रेटिंग का रिपोर्ट आता है, तो डायग्नोस्टिक. तुम्हारा ब्लड शुगर में इतना प्रॉब्लम है, ये हो गया, दिस दैट, एंड यू मे नो आईसी. हो गया. But they don't teach you, they don't tell you what is to be done. Now, this would be a phenomenal opportunity. जितना भी क्रेडिट रेटिंग का रिपोर्ट है, जितना भी क्रेडिट रेटिंग का रिपोर्ट है, you go and tell them if you are satisfied with two things. The owner, that is my first condition. I should be convinced with the owner, which we are in. And second is business. Then you can tell them credit worthiness, sustainability of your business plan and long-term plan. ये तीन हो गया, तो आपका credit rating issue. And this is again stand alone professional opportunities. It can be example micro. In India alone, 24 lakh crores is bigger than the up and down now. 24 lakh crores have been sanctioned. Can you imagine what is the meaning of 24 lakh crores? And out of this, 8 crores have been issued the first time borrowers. These numbers, कहीं कोई नहीं बोलेगा operating. But this is the fact. Second is Prime Minister Swanidhi recently gave a very part. And this was the brainchild of one of the very senior national director of India. And he came out with this. उसमें 43 lakh street vendors को दिया. First 10,000 जाके देना. 10,000 आपने वापस लिया. You are eligible for 20,000. 20,000 दिया. You are eligible for 50,000. This is what they are calling public street vendors. Now this is all simple. Somebody I'm saying this. I just now this is very important. What is the characteristic of MSME? What are the challenges? One, it is volatile. Mostly they are family managed businesses or a technocrat people. So you have been transferred by some company, you want to start something. Second, lack of any formal management training or their exposure is minimal. Third, technical and marketing. See, in management, if you see, there are two things. One is line function and one is the staff function. I hope you know about that. Line function is something which is directly related with that. And staff function is something which is other than the main activity. So these जो है, they are driven by technical and marketing. Line function, which are critical to the business. They need to get accounting, IT, कुछ भी नहीं लेंगे. And that is why the organization is pulled down by them. You ought to have your supporting functions also equally at par. Resource constraint. This is a genuine problem. They have resource constraint, and that is where the problem And unfortunately, it is also on the low priority. This is again most important. There is a huge gap, really huge gap between owner and seller. सेकंड लाइन को कुछ आता पता नहीं, ओनर अपने ख्याल में चलता है, सेकंड लाइन पता है. This is where chartered accountant can get in, bring some kind of a rapport there. Who goes to point of action other than that? They say, no, people say, if my hand is too close like this, I can't see anything. But if I'm seeing, I'm looking at helicopter view, I'm able to see everything. क्या हुआ है क्या नहीं. ये जो है owner invariably is very close to the point of action. अरे आज ये वर्कर क्यों नहीं आया, अरे आज ये ट्रक क्यों नहीं आया, डिलीवरी क्यों लेट हुआ. This is where he is wasting his time, where he should basically be, delegating and doing. The impact of liberalization and globalization, we still don't understand what we discussed earlier, and attracting and retaining. Chartered accountant के साथ भी they are not able to understand the value of skills, what value they can have. So forget about the outsiders. They are very poor in identifying talent. क्योंकि खुद का बेसिक वीक हो जाता है. So that is where ACS can support them. Success recipes, ingredients. It is more better. Which is banana. Palak paneer with banana. We know what the ingredients are. Then in what proportion they are to be mixed. And timing. गैस कभी चालू करना है, कितना टाइम इसको उबालना है, इसको आकार में क्या डालना है. So that you don't. Same thing is applicable in business. What kind of a success recipe आपको कौन सा action कभी लेना है, timing क्या है, इसका proportion कितना है. I know that one of the case I mentioned, he was totally obsessed with technology. इतना सारा पैसा उसने डाला, 3 प्लांट खड़ा कर दिया. But he didn't know commercial viability कहाँ है इसका. ये नारायण मूर्ति का suggestion, and there were a lot of things about the startups. This is something we call it as PSPD model, predictability of revenues. You must be clear about the revenue, sustainability of business, profitability, cost control, and these things not dependent on the cloud. Again, he mentioned, this is to my mind very important.
Sir, last.
Yeah.
Previous slide.
We will post this all slide with the permission of sir on the website of ICA. Okay.
Narayan Murthy, when you tell a lot of cultural transformations, there are huge problems with culture. There are different lines of thinking. What he has said is cultural transformation means hard work. You should be willing to do the hard work. Second, there should be honesty, courtesy in human relations, discipline, trust, and putting the interest of commons ahead of private interest. You have to think of the others. Then automatically your interest is served. आपको कुछ नहीं करना पड़ेगा. These are important attributes we need leadership, for example. Okay. These are my favorite quotes. Learning from these 3 idiots. Excellence का पीछा करो, सक्सेस जब मार के आपको पीछे आएगा. Wow. Perfect. Sure, guaranteed. I have written it in my own life. Rocket Singh. If you want to learn about entrepreneurship, what is entrepreneurship? And how you build a team, go and see Rocket. Mission Mangal. What is leadership? How do you motivate your people? How you take the risk? And last one is negative. Badmash company. How you should not run your business. Don't find shortcuts. The Bible story, keep on text and the very important. How many of you know about this? Definitely. Yes. Thank you. Our institute, ICAI, is jointly with AIMI now has organized this program. And this is going to be from August 1st November. इसके पहले, as you rightly said, there were two other such programs organized. And this is going to be focusing only on these areas as to how the chartered accountants can come out from compliances and go to value addition. Okay? But the opportunities like what is the opportunities? Again, yes. Knowledge of options. They will,
So friends, I think a wonderful session and just hold on for 5 minutes. If we have any quick question, one or two, maybe we can take up कुछ भी question हो किसी का भी, we can take up one or two quick question. I think, the last point sir said about this tie-up with IIM. We have been trying and doing a lot of initiatives and there are some residential courses offered, including this one. There were few more courses at Hyderabad where we have, center of excellence and at unbelievable nominal prices, these programs are done just to create an awareness amongst the chartered accountants that ICA is doing these type of program. And before Komal propose a vote of thanks or before Deepa madam gives her closing remark, on my personal behalf, let me thank him for sparing his valuable time. And as I said in the opening remark, do give your feedback. With the permission of sir, we will put this PPT on the website. You can download anytime. The photos which are being clicked, we have also started an initiative of AI wherein you just scan your face and whatever photos which are clicked by the photographer in that, if there is a your photo, you will immediately get it in your email box within 15 seconds. So those links also are being sent and are regularly being given to all the participants. You can take advantage of this new AI initiative of WIRC. Friends, we are announcing one program on 30th June, which is a relearn series on income tax. Of course, there's a DTRC. I don't know how many of you have participated or you have registered for that. At Yogi Sabhagra, there's a direct tax refresher course. In fact, today's registration, I was just sitting with the staff, is over 500 already. And we are targeting 600 plus people. 14, 15, 21, 22, these 4 days, all eminent speakers. If you see the flyer, similar one more program, which is on 29th and 30th, either 29th or 30th will be in BKC, which is a relearn series on income tax, wherein each headwise there will be a discussion on salary, business profession, capital gain, NRI taxation, income from other sources. So this is just we are contemplating either on one day or 2 consecutive days or maybe 2 back-to-back Sundays or something like that. We are just discussing right now. So I'm looking forward for your participation in all these programs. Do register yourself. I think great opportunity to relearn the entire income tax before we approach to the July season. Similar one relearn series for corporate taxation will be launched in the month of August. So looking forward for your active participation. Thank you. Over to you, Deepa. Komal. Yeah.
That they should give their feedback once, please.
Yeah.
That will help to cover the future sections.
Thank you, Dr. Chaitanya, sir, for such a wonderful session on MSME and role of CAs. India is expected to grow to $10 trillion by 2030, and MSMEs are going to play a role in this, and we chartered accountants can significantly contribute to the growth of MSME. we have to think of ways, as Dr. Chaitanya was said, from compliance role to how we can, value add. We have to think in those terms, and I'm sure we will play a great role in success of MSMEs. And thank you to everyone for attending this session, and please, don't forget to fill out the feedback form. And for upcoming events, please visit our website. Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Very insightful, very insightful. Knowledge initial level पर जाना join करो तो employees they are taking the order from the customer and इनके पास stock नहीं रहता तो उधर ही at least अबे ये obstacle पर चलता है ये confirm the order but costing is still challenge. I have tried so many times but तुम्हारी पर से जाओ. Yeah, but not planning of that. Get the motivation and everybody.
I've got sessions more and they have today program. I said in my
Emphasizing anything more.
I have many photos. You take a photo. वो भी कर लीजिए. I will take a photo.
एक मानस सरकार पेमेंट अरे है ना
Sir is very much diet conscious. You can see that. Sir, please join us.
सर आवाज
Sir, come
आपको यही जाना चाहिए सोशल मीडिया
यही करेगा, यही करेगा, वो मेरे लिए कैसे नहीं चल
बाकी के फोटो मत डालना, इसमें हम लोग हैं तो
बाकी के
तो मैं आपको काम दे रहा हूँ
क्या है ये जब तुमने शुरू कर सकते हो तो समझ
चलो
जाएगा। जरूरत हर आदमी को उठता है,
जरूरत सबको है।
बिना उसके कुछ नहीं होने वाला है। ठीक है, उठना तो ठीक है।